since joining Brooklyn. UConn women's basketball coach Gino Auriemma testing positive for COVID-19 is isolating at home. He can rejoin the team as soon as March 24th. The rest of the team testing negative in advance of the NCAA Tournament. They open against High Point on Sunday night. UConn, Stanford, South Carolina, and North Carolina State were awarded number 1 seeds. NC State, the top overall seed for the coming tourney. Meantime, from the NFL, the Patriots handing out more than $178 million in a first-day splurge in free agency, including pass rusher Matthew Judon, 4 years, $56 million. Tight end Jonnu Smith gets 4 years, $50 million. They had a pair of wide receivers, Nelson Aguilar for 2 years, Kenrick Bourne for 3. Jalen Mills, the defensive back, ex of the Eagles, gets 4 years and $24 million. Booger McFarland on the Patriots beefing up that roster.
The Patriots are going to run the football, play action pass. That's where the tight end comes at. Jonnu Smith is going to be deadly over the middle. But the hallmark of this team is going to be their defense next year. It's going to be lights out. They have their pass rusher, the guy that can get out the quarterback. You add Chung and Hightower. I expect this to be back being a formidable unit in New England.
And the Patriots did lose guard Joe Thuney, 5 years, $80 million to the Chiefs' highest overall value. Corey Davis, ex-Titans wideout, to the Jets for 3 years and better than $37.5 million. And Rob Gronkowski back to the Bucs, 1 year and $10 million. Keep up with the latest on ESPN.com.
Hey, it's Greeny, and on Tuesday, in honor of Drew Brees, the Green List will be the top 5 NFL players never to win MVP. Is Brees number 1? You'll find out. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN+.
Isn't this a sports show?
We're here for a one-on-one interview with our friend Travis Kelce. Travis, I know you listen to a lot of Almost Entirely Sports. What do you think about Joshua Brisco and Beards McFly?
I mean, I don't think they suck. I can tell you that.
Thank you, Travis.
Almost Entirely.
I did the best I could. That's our new tagline. It's Almost Entirely Sports on Sports Radio 810. I did the best I could.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
Hey, Beards, where's your Pokeball?
So Rudy and I have our Pokeballs out.
Yeah.
What?
Beards, where's yours?
Beards, take your Pokeball out. Come on, it's not as much fun if we don't all have our Pokeballs out.
I haven't bought mine yet.
Take the show with you by listening on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app at 810WHB.com or by searching for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
I love walking into a Home Depot and go down the wood section.
This is Almost Entirely Sports on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Let's get Looney Tooney. Who wants to talk about a guard for 3 hours? This guy, this show, these people. And it is pronounced Tooney. There's the first thing you're going to learn on tonight's Almost Entirely Sports. Happy Monday, and it really is a happy one because the legal tampering period opened up in the NFL today, and for the first time, teams and agents were talking to players and agents. Definitely wasn't happening before the tampering window opened up. All of these deals, they all just came together like magic, only starting after the tampering window is open.
Mm-hmm.
Deals are not official yet. You won't see teams announcing them still for a little bit. But we have a pretty good feel about a pretty large number of the things that have already happened in the NFL. And I will say, actually, I don't think the biggest domino has fallen yet, at least in terms of guys that the Chiefs are definitely interested in. So we have a lot to unpack here tonight. I'm very excited to have new Chiefs players to talk about, even though we won't be able to get into the nitty-gritty of all of the film and everything with Seth Kaiser until tomorrow. Here's what we will do. I am here. Rudy is here. Beards is here. We'll have Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest in an hour to talk about everything the Chiefs have done and then haven't yet done. And we'll have an AES debut from Connor Christopherson, who's been doing some outstanding work on Arrowhead Report over really the last year now at this point. But he had a piece on Patrick Mahomes' contract and the restructuring protocols they're going to be able to go into on a yearly basis that it's as good of a piece of analysis as you're going to get. I tweeted out earlier today that every Chiefs fan should just bookmark this story so they can send it out on Facebook or on Twitter whenever they get into a fight with somebody who's talking about how Patrick Mahomes' contract is going to keep holding the Chiefs down from a cap perspective for the rest of the time.
Doesn't love football enough.
That's exactly right.
Hates winning.
Why isn't he doing what Tom Brady did? And actually,
Tom Brady would never take a big contract. Tom Brady, I don't know if people know this.
he works for
Tom
free.
Brady was paying the Patriots to play football.
That's right. He did. He started off by paying the Patriots, and then he took an unpaid internship, and then he was paid $7.50 an hour minimum wage, $7.25 an hour minimum wage.
Well,
and that's why he went to Tampa to finally make some money.
To be fair, what is Florida's minimum wage?
Find Florida state tax for me too.
Florida's current minimum wage is $8.56 an hour.
No. Actually, so here's the thing: is actually the Buccaneers are paying him.
Oh,
it's his time in New England.
Here we go. I figured this out. Here's why he went to Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Because on September 30th, 2021, minimum wage is going up to $10 an hour.
Wow, good for him.
We've got it figured out.
And I think,
and then it will continue to go
tax,
up
I think, is
$1 per hour until 2026. So Tom Brady confirmed to play until 2026.
He's at least playing until 2026 to really get.
And yes, there is no income tax, which is helpful if you're making $8 or $10 an hour when the season starts.
As Brady will be doing this year. So that and
no overtime though.
There could be a seasonal.
They are cutting him at 40.
There could be a seasonal apprenticeship thing like with minor league baseball players.
Ooh, that's a good point.
I'm not even sure that Brady's getting minimum wage.
That's a good point.
So we'll talk to Matt in about an hour. We'll talk to Connor in about 2 hours. I'll give you a little teaser on that story later on. But obviously, the news of the day, one thing that has happened and then one thing that has not yet happened for the Chiefs.
Did they sign Chris Carson?
They did not. Nor did they sign Corey Davis, who just moments before the show signed with the Jets. And we'll see how the Jets bring all their offense together. I don't know. I don't know. I kind of feel bad for Corey Davis right now.
I mean,
because he would look good in red. But that's how I don't want to start there, Rudy.
Here's the thing.
I don't want to start with Corey Davis and the Jets.
Adam Gase isn't there, so I'm sure it's going to be better. How much better? I don't know.
But it literally can't be worse.
It can't. They say it can't always get worse, but man, I just don't know if this might be the one time where that might be true. It can't get worse.
Unless they fire Rob Saleh and hire Les Miles, it can't get worse for the Jets. That's what I'm willing to say. And if they do hire Les Miles, then, so be it. If Jeff Long gets into an advisory role, then maybe it'll become an issue. But as of right now, I don't think it can get worse for the Jets.
Well, he's uniquely qualified for that.
In what regard?
Let me talk about Joe Thuney. It's spelled with a TH, but it is pronounced Thuney. I've cross-referenced this with both Ian Rappaport on TV earlier today and with Joe Thuney's Pro Football Reference page. There is a phonetic pronunciation, even though the guy on the ESPN Sports Center on National right before us said Thuney. I will not say it again that way for the remainder of his time in Kansas City.
Looney Thuney.
Looney Thuney. Looney Thuney Joe Thuney. Thuney, damn it. It's a tough one. Joe Looney Thuney is where I'm at. Star of Space Jam 2. Knee.
Co-star.
Hold on. Joe Thuney, co-star of Space Jam 2. Knee.
Ooh.
Thuney Fast, Thuney Furious. Welcome to Kansas City, Joe Thuney. You're not even officially a member of the Chiefs yet, and you already have your own liner on Almost Entirely Sports. And I'll say this. If you have only read my tweets about this, and if you had a particular sort of mindset coming into how you were reading my tweets about the Chiefs signing Joe Thuney, I have found that a lot of people have made some assumptions about how I feel about this deal. And I have a lot. I'll give you the details. I'll give you all of the background with where I'm at right now. And I'm going to give you some qualifiers and all sorts of stuff here. But if you want my very quick kind of out of the gate thing, here's I'll give you my umbrella take, all right? I am lukewarm on this signing.
But your name's Josh.
Your name is going to see if we can get you getting paid less than Tom Brady's minimum wage. I am lukewarm about the Chiefs signing Joe Thuney. And if you are going, okay, Josh, that's fine. You're allowed to have opinions that aren't always positive. You're a radio show host. I would say thank you. Where have you been on Twitter? Because the last few kind of big moves that I feel like have gotten Chiefs Twitter all up in a frenzy, Frank Clark trade, draft a running back in the first round, sign Joe Thuney. I was slightly more than lukewarm in favor of the Frank Clark deal, but I've been mostly lukewarm on it, at the time and since then. And there's been some good moments and some bad moments there. That's fine. Everybody knows how I felt about the Chiefs drafting running back in the first round. It's not personal for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's a nice player. I wouldn't have made that pick. Everyone knows that. I am lukewarm on Joe Thuney. It does not mean I'm a hater. I do not hate this move by any means. I do not think this is some dramatic misstep. I also will hold my final judgment until we get to the end of free agency, whenever the Chiefs have wrung every penny out of their salary cap, and as we get to the NFL draft, and maybe even until after the draft, because a lot of the things I'm feeling right now are going to be team building based, roster building based. Joe Thuney is going to immediately take the Chiefs' biggest weakness and make it significantly better. If you wanted to turn off the radio show or the podcast right here, I would ask you not. At least just keep it playing in the background. But you could turn it off now, and I would not be mad if you took that as my take. He is going to make this team's biggest weakness significantly better. There's tremendous value to that. The Chiefs are going to have an argument for having maybe the best guard in football, probably more safely a top 5 guard. They're also paying him now as the highest paid guard in NFL history. Anytime you hear that, I think you should hesitate for just like a half second. In the case of Patrick Mahomes, you should have hesitated for a second and then immediately stopped hesitating and move on with your life, because paying Patrick Mahomes in the richest deal in American sports history is worthy of having a hesitation, and then you go, actually, no, it's Patrick Mahomes. They feel good about this. With Joe Thuney, and this deal that the Chiefs signed today, I'm going to give you all the numbers on it, the deal that he's going to be signing. It is a lot of money for a position group that I've told you I don't want to be revisionist. I've told you for the last month that guard is the spot across that offensive line that I am the least concerned about, because I think it's going to be the easiest thing for the Chiefs to patch up if they like their tackles and their center. Rudy, you had some bug eyes looking at your phone. Is something happening? We're just in breaking news territory.
No, it's not breaking news.
Hold on. Beards, can we get the breaking news sounder, please? Just have that ready to go all show, because if breaking news happens, you can just bust in with it, and I don't care what it was. I want to know what it was as if it was breaking news. Beards, hit it.
So I know you saw this tweet because you liked it, but to be fair, people listening may not have seen this tweet.
Sure.
David Lesky tweeted, "I have it on pretty good authority that Mike Matheny is pushing for Bobby Wood Jr. on the Royals opening day roster. Maybe it's quite not as unlikely as I once thought. Between that and what Flanny just said about the clubhouse, I don't know."
This was several hours ago.
It was 6 hours ago.
Today, but
I'm just now seeing it, and oh boy.
That was 6 hours ago, but I'm still fanning myself with the legal pad right now.
Here's the thing. I was thinking about this as you were talking about Mahomes. If you're mad about the money Mahomes is making, just remember this. The more money Mahomes makes means the more money he can pay Bobby Witt Jr. one day. So, oh boy. Come on.
We'll get to Bobby Witt Jr. in a little bit.
Might be all we talk about one day. We're getting pretty close to him being the only thing we talk about.
That's true. So here are the numbers for the Joe Thuney deal. 5 years, $80 million.
I just saw your gift, by the way, too. Great gift.
Which gift?
It was a
Which
big
gift?
big baby, licking his lips. It was a good gift.
Is that a good sound?
Very good sound.
5 years, $80 million, with $34.5 million fully guaranteed, but an injury guarantee that becomes fully guaranteed in 2022 to make it $48 million essentially guaranteed at signing. That is a massive contract and a lot of guaranteed money to give to a guard. The more details that came out a little bit later, the signing bonus is $17 million, which will be prorated over the life of his deal. His first-year base salary is under $1 million. It's $990,000. He's going to get that signing bonus at the front end, so he made it a lot of money today. Mm-hmm. But his base salary, year one, is $990,000. Second year is about $14 million. Third year is about $15 million. And then it's $15.5 and $15.5 the 2 years after that. He's got some workout bonuses, but it keeps his 2021 cap number at $4.5 million, which means the Chiefs had restructured Mahomes' deal. There are reports that they either had or were in the process of restructuring Kelsey and Chris Jones' deals. So they ended up with, Albert Breer had this number, about $20 million to spend in free agency this year. Now, there have been some people that have said that maybe that's not the total under the cap they are, but that's doing the math of like their free agent budget. So they'll still be able to pay draft picks and not dig into that $20 million, et cetera. Mm-hmm. But let's just say $20 million budget for 2021, which is the lowest the salary cap has been in a while and will ever be again. The salary cap is never going below this for the next 50 years.
At least until the next global pandemic.
That's right. That's right. Barring another pandemic or the heat death of the universe, the salary cap is never going below the 185 that it's going to be at this year. A little more than that for the Chiefs because they had some money roll over. Right around there. So the Chiefs still have about $15 million in their budget right now for this year, and they have not yet extended Tyrann Mathieu, something I still fully expect them to do at some point.
It makes sense for all the. I mean, one, he's still good.
Yep.
And you want him on the Chiefs long term, and two, it just frees up money.
He's important to this defense.
So much. It just makes too much sense.
It's important to this defense. Right now, his base salary in 2021 is about $14.5 million. The Chiefs could cut that way, way down. His cap hits 19. Some of that's a prorated bonus that they can't move around. But they could easily free up $10 million from Tyrann Mathieu, and it would probably be a little more than that, depending on where they move the money to. So if they stretch out that cap hit, which again they can do for reasons that we'll talk to Connor about in an hour, or in about an hour and a half or so, because of how Mahomes' deal has been structured, they could free up even more money if they want to. But Thuney's first-year deal is about $4.5 million. So there's all the math, all right? Highest paid guard in NFL history, first-year cap hit, $4.5 million, really, really, really guaranteed through 3 years. He's going to be on this roster for 3 years. We always say, look at the guaranteed money, and you'll find out how long the deal is actually for. This deal isn't really 5 years, $80 million, but it is really 3 years, $50 million. And some of that money would be dead cap if they wanted to cut him after 3. They would have to pay him a little bit of that prorated signing bonus in those back-end years, like $3 or $4 million if memory serves. But it's really a very highly paid 3-year deal where he's going to make about $16 million on average over the life of those 3 years. Again, this year being the lowest of his cap hits, which is great because this is the lowest of the caps that the Chiefs are going to have. Let me work through a couple of the things that this deal has made me feel up to this point, with the caveat that I'm going to probably sound relatively unenthused for the next few minutes, and then also will happily make the case for why this move totally makes sense. One, I did not have make Joe Thuney the highest paid guard in NFL history on my offseason wish list.
Top 5 offensive tackle money as well.
That's the real rub on it, right?
And then he's not an offensive tackle for people who he won't play, but he is paid like a left tackle.
There could be a chance that they might have him play center, which would be more likely than him playing tackle in all likelihood. I think he played tackle in college.
He did.
He's been a guard. He's been a guard in New England. He's been great in that role.
He has played tackle in the NFL
I think his rookie year
emergency
especially.
situations.
Yeah.
But he's never he hasn't necessarily been a tackle, just somebody who can play it if needed. Kind of the same with center. I'm probably overthinking this, but every tweet was always Chiefs have signed offensive linemen, and
I saw that too.
And I started thinking to myself, I might be overthinking this, but the fact that it's not that these tweets aren't specifically guard or left guard makes me wonder, could he be playing a different spot? I'm guessing no. I'm guessing I'm overthinking that.
I think that if he was going to play center, we would have heard from Matt Derrick, who we'll talk to in 40 minutes. We would have heard from Nate Taylor. We would have heard from one of those guys that is absolutely in that beat, like 24/7. I think we would have gotten a little bit of.
For sure.
They actually looking at him playing center. I'm guessing he'll play guard.
There's a chance that he could be,
Which also, by the way, would change the math for me a little bit because now you're paying him like a really excellent center, but you've got a guy that's going to be in front of Patrick Mahomes for the next 3 to 5 years, and that's a little different to me in terms of getting, to take a baseball term, getting the battery there locked into place as opposed to here's your 4th or 5th most position on the offensive line being solidified, which is what the guard spots are. But that's one reason that this is this surprised me. I was surprised. I was very much mentally preparing for the Trent Williams news. He is still not signed. We'll get to him in a minute. But Kelechi Osemele came in and was the most beloved offensive lineman on the Chiefs until he had a freak injury that tore tendons in both of his knees against the Raiders towards the beginning of the year.
On a play that was like the reason why we loved him, right? He was
out in open
30
space
yards down the field or whatever, and we were just like, oh, this is an amazing sign.
And Thuney, this will come up, obviously, I know. Thuney has not missed a game in his time in the NFL. I'm going to come back to that as well. I'm going to put a pin in that. But Osemele got that hype off of a few games into a 1 year, $1 million and change deal. If you want to go ahead and lump in Nick Allegretti, who finished the season at guard, their combined salaries last year were about $2 million. Unless you, if you believe that Thuney is going to add over the average life of his deal, because it's not going to just be the $4.5 million this year, you have to look at all the guaranteed money. If you think he's going to be on average $12, $13, $14 million per year better than what Osemele and Allegretti were providing you, that's a tough sell, because it's really hard for a guard to be that valuable. It's because there's only so much impact that an offensive guard can have on a game at any given time. Now, if they're an atrocity, then yes, they'll derail some things. I know people are thinking about the Super Bowl for reasons that I will also, again, circle back to. But it's hard for me to argue that Thuney will be a bigger upgrade at about $16 million a year over the first 3 years guaranteed than Corey Linsley, the center, who just signed from the Packers to the Chargers. Will he be a bigger upgrade than him at about the same annual value? I'm sanding down some of the edges on the math, but a very similar annual value. Will he be more valuable than your first $14 million down payment on Trent Williams, who's rumored to be in the $20 to $24 million annual value range? Would that be more valuable than the $14 million wide receiver who could come in and replace Sammy Watkins? It's just, again, very difficult for a guard to be that valuable. Another thing with the Super Bowl, for all the frustrations that came from the Super Bowl, the issues weren't really about the guards in that game. And you might say, but the guards also got whooped. Yeah, for sure.
Everybody got whooped.
Everybody got whooped. That entire offensive line every guy on that line had the worst game of their life at the worst time, it seemed. But do you know who the Chiefs' two best guards were on that offensive line in the Super Bowl? They're two tackles. Andrew Wiley, the right tackle, a serviceable guard. Better to be your third guard than your first or your second, but a serviceable guard. Do you remember who started the Buffalo Bills game after Osemele's injury at guard?
Who was it, Josh?
It was Mike Rimmers, who had to play left tackle, but before Mitch Schwartz left with an injury in that game, with his back injury that he never came back from, Rimmers started at guard. Mike Rimmers, probably not a dominant presence at guard, but if he is your second of your two starting guards, that's fine. The Chiefs are, I imagine right now, planning on getting Laurent Duvernay-Tardif back, although no official news on that. He had a rough year coming off of a spiral fracture in his leg, coming off of a very serious injury. He's now obviously another full year removed from that healthy, but feel pretty good about him being back again, another year healthier. And also, you're out of football. Up in the air. I'm not telling you LDT is going to come back and be a Pro Bowler, but you got some money there and a guy that's played well.
You feel at the very least it will be serviceable.
Sure,
You feel
and probably better than Andrew Wiley.
Yeah, he's not going to be your best offensive lineman. He's not your worst offensive lineman. You feel like it's a spot you just don't have to worry about. There's value in that.
Lucas Niang, who I honestly think will be the Chiefs' opening day starter at right tackle at this point. We've talked since they drafted him that, hey, if he doesn't work out at tackle, he can kick in and be a pretty good guard. You have all of these guys that either were playing out of position or were merely serviceable, or you have options where your tackle who may or may not work out there could kick into guard. The vision that I'm trying to paint there isn't that Kelechi Osemele is the best guard in football, or that Mike Rimmers would have been a dominant force there in the middle if he would have never had to have even gone back out to right tackle. It's think of all of the names that we can talk about doing a serviceable job there whenever they have good tackle play on the outside of them. It makes your job a lot easier whenever you're playing between Mitch Schwartz and Eric Fisher on whichever side of the line you're on, or whenever you have maybe an all-pro center there to help you in that regard as well. That's the strategy that I told you I expected the Chiefs to implement, and the strategy that I would implement, and they went and signed Joe Thuney to make him the highest-paid guard in the NFL, in NFL history. I'm really surprised by that. That really caught me off guard. No pun intended, but maybe pun. You know what? I'll take the pun. Off guard.
Not a bad pun.
Headline, off guard. Chiefs signed Thuney to richest deal in NFL history.
Off guard. Last name pronounced Thuney, not Thuney.
Wow, great point. Good call. Better headline.
Thank you. Off guard. Tooney stars in Looney Toonies.
2.
2.
Knee. Fast 2
LeBron
from New Furious.
James knee.
Huh. I don't think that one worked. You still got a pretty good batting average today.
I'll take it. 2 of 3. I'm basically Bobby Wood Jr. out here.
Thuney of 3. Damn, that was good. So I just, and also you find these guys that continually hit the free agent market, these veteran guards who are going to be looking for a 1-year deal. That's what I expected. I expected the Chiefs to mostly patch up. Beards looked at me when I said mostly. It's because I was saying mostly patch. Sometimes my mouth moves faster than my brain.
Happens.
98% of the time, my mouth moves faster than my brain.
It happens. Which is why it's why you made a lot of taser bets in your life. You learn though.
Sometimes. I'm glad I didn't make a bet about the Chiefs' offensive line. I'll tell you that.
I did not see Tooney coming.
Me neither.
I was so surprised. I had to look it up. Like, wait, does he play tackle? And I was like, oh yeah, he's a guard.
He's a guard. Yeah.
I was like, oh okay.
And that's. I'm going to come back around to kind of like an argument on this in just a second.
It's fine, but it just
sure.
It caught me off guard. I mean, that might have been a lot of Trent Williams talk, right?
What did it catch you?
Caught me off guard.
There it is.
I didn't mean to do that, but it was nice.
I've been under the impression for a while and continue to be under the impression that if you're going to build an offensive line and you're going to leave yourself a weakness somewhere just by necessity, right? Mm-hmm. Leave it at guard, and your underperforming tackle can move in and play there. Cam Irving could play competent guard and got really shown out whenever he had to play tackle. You're going to find some veterans like Coleccio Simile where you take $1 million gamble and it looks like it's working out great, and then a freak injury happens. Okay. Nick Allegretti was a end-of-draft pick who played all right last year. It was 6 or 7. It was 6 or 7. That's why I was hoping you wouldn't say anything because I knew I just said late round. You can find it.
It was 6 or 7. I think it was.
I think 7. He was 7. I think he was the 7th round pick. I get that wrong every time.
He was their last
LDT,
pick.
Here's the thing. Here's what I'm doing. LDT and Zach Fulton were both 6th.
Yes.
I believe Allegretti was the 7th.
I believe you're correct. I'm pulling it up now.
But
7th round pick.
And Allegretti is going to be upgraded on with Joe Thuney. Absolutely. But if you're going to pick a spot in the offensive line to upgrade on, it's why, as this argument was brought to the table, that I think is reasonable. Hey, they wanted to sign a blue chip player to put on that offensive line. They lost a blue chip right tackle in Mitch Schwartz and a very good left tackle in Eric Fisher. They wanted to add a blue chip offensive lineman over the course of free agency. Mm-hmm. I think that is a totally reasonable read into this.
Have you mentioned the fact he's also 28 years old? Only 28.
No.
And he'll be 29 this year.
Only is tough. Only I don't love for a reason that I'll get to actually.
It's not young, it's not old.
Over.
It's like that a little bit.
He's been in the league for half a decade. He's been in the league for 5 years. They wanted to add a blue chip player. I understand that. I think the logic there is reasonable. What I think is interesting is that at least as we sit right now, we're going to come back to Trent Williams. As we sit right now, between Corey Linsley, center, Trent Williams, tackle, Joe Thuney, guard, the 3 blue chip free agent offensive linemen in this class, widely regarded as such, they chose the guard. The least valuable of those 3 positions. And I find that very, very interesting. I'm not sure that it's some disaster. I was just surprised by that. If you would have had me rank the likelihood of them signing those 3 guys, especially after the news that they were not going to try to retain Austin Ryder, I would have gone Williams 1, Linsley 2, Thuney 3. I said Thuney. Thuney 3. I even had a joke ready to go for 2 and 3.
Threeny 3.
I deserve that. And so that's where sort of my surprise throughout this has come from. I totally understand the logic of they wanted a blue chip player, they took a blue chip player. I'm happy that they got a blue chip player out of this free agent class. I'm just surprised it was that one.
Also, it's the fact that, and it's absolutely because part of it is like we're caught up in the Trent Williams news, right?
Yep.
And so like all of our focus is on that, but also it's because like I don't, and maybe you saw this and I just didn't. Maybe you heard it. I just don't remember the Chiefs and Thuney being even really a conversation. It was just kind of like all of a sudden, hey, Chiefs are contenders on Trent Williams. Hey, we've just signed Thuney to 5 years, $80 million. It was like, whoa, wait, okay, that's not the. I was expecting a big deal here. I wasn't expecting it to be this guy.
And I mean, that's the thing. I don't hate the logic that comes with that, but I think it's very interesting and admittedly not my favorite thing in the world that assuming he stays at guard, they pick the blue chip guard over the blue chip center over the blue chip tackle. I did have Gregory on Twitter ask me an excellent question. If they still sign Trent Williams, would I change my Thuney? And I would. And I'll explain that
very good.
Whenever we come back.
Want more Almost Entirely Sports? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page.
Car enthusiasts, looking for the best place to store and show off your car? Check out the KC Underground, Kansas City's car collection. KC Underground is part of the Kansas City Automotive Museum and provides a safe place to store your vehicle with 24-hour monitoring while sharing its history. Call today to reserve a spot underground for your car. Use the promo code 810 and you'll receive a 10% discount. Go to thekcunderground.com or call 816-492-7147 and mention 810-WHB. If you can see the skyline, the KC Underground is just moments away.
Mercedes-Benz is the automotive manufacturer that stands above all others. And in Kansas City, the Mercedes-Benz dealer that has been named Best of the Best is Mercedes-Benz of Kansas City. Mercedes-Benz of Kansas City in Kansas City, Missouri, Overland Park, Lee Summit, and Olathe. Your local Mercedes-Benz new and used car, truck, and SUV dealership. If you're looking for a new vehicle or a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz, your source is Mercedes-Benz of Kansas City, 1/2 mile east of 135th and State Line, or online at mbofkc.com. The Kansas City market's #1 volume certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz dealer.
Hi, this is Kevin Harlan. Our family has been a loyal Mercedes of KC customer for years. Stop in at MBKC of Kansas City and see why we love them so much. They take pride in their vehicles. They provide great customer experience and satisfaction. MB of KC is your local Mercedes-Benz new and used car, truck, and SUV dealership. 1/2 mile east of 135th and State Line on Highway 150.
There's no such thing as quality of life when you are constantly in pain. No sleep, no work, no play without the pain. Enough is enough. Stephen St. John here to tell you about the medical professionals at QC Kinetics who help patients take back their quality of life with bold new breakthrough pain treatments. These are regenerative cell therapies that precisely target the root cause of the pain, usually caused by old injuries and arthritis, back pain, hip pain, shoulders and knees, even sciatic nerve pain. QC Kinetics' new gen therapies help restore and heal damaged tissue with long-term relief. No Band-Aid solutions. And they have amazing patient satisfaction reports. Best news? No surgery, no pain meds, and no downtime. Don't suffer one more day. Book your free consultation at QC Kinetics. Call now, 816-412-6299. Located right off 435 and State Line. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Small business owners don't have the patience for nonsense, especially when it comes to their internet provider. They want the best services for the best price. Simply put, that's Spectrum Business. They give you great value, zero nonsense. Just call 833-919-2121. You'll get fast, reliable internet and phone with no contracts and no hidden fees, all for a price that could cut your bill in half. Spectrum Business. Call today, 833-919-2121.
The NAIA Men's Basketball National Championship is just around the corner on March 18th through the 23rd downtown at Municipal Auditorium. 15 games over the course of 5 days as we crown the 83rd NAIA Men's Basketball National Champion. Catch all the excitement as single-day tickets start at just $20. For ticket and championship information, go to NAIAHoops.com today. The NAIA Men's Basketball National Championship, a Kansas City tradition.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo. What is Zipline? It's Golden Oak's fast and easy online mortgage tool that leaves you with more time to plan a family movie night.
I get to pick the movie.
And clean up the popcorn you weren't planning on sharing. At Golden Oak Lending, we speak mortgage and love translating it. Right now, rates are at a historic low 2.5%. Visit goldenoaklending.com to use Zipline. NMLS 114937, 2.5% fixed, 2.655% APR on a conventional 15-year mortgage with 30% equity and approved credit. JLB Corporation, 8595 College Boulevard, Overland Park, Kansas.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
But that's not where this show makes its money. You guys know that. We make our money talking about the Chiefs. And dunking on people on Twitter.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
I got takes here in a second, but first of all, I got to circle back to the Twitch chat, who's just been absolutely monstrous during the last several minutes. There was a question from, I believe it was from Credible Hulk 85, saying, if I subscribe, do I get a shout out? First of all, yes. If you subscribe, we'll absolutely give you the shout out over the radio and everything. I'm very much down with that.
So subscribe.
But then Aspen58 said, from what I've noticed, all you got to do is make a bad pun in the chat to get a shout out. Basically, it's just you make me or Rudy laugh, we will give you a shout out. That's pretty much exactly it.
Yep.
Then Literally Gaming on Twitch says, these puns make me want to toonie you out. And then both from Facebook and from Twitch, we had absolutely monstrous jokes about Kelechi Simile injuring Toonies. It's monstrous. It's monstrous. You're both of your bad people.
Aspen, I wish it went to the Office G Fuel budget. That'd be real good.
Also, by the way, Kelechi Simile, there was a video on his Instagram story of him doing rehab, and his Toonies looked great. So I feel almost okay about amplifying that terrible joke you bad people made.
That was a good joke.
I'd still love to have Osimile. I really like Kelechi Osimile. Yeah. I still hope he ends up back in some role. I don't know.
Him with Toonies would be great.
That's so frustrating that you got that one so good. You're Bobby Witt on that, man. You just turned around on that sucker. It didn't even
It was a short, quick swing, and you were like, "Wow, how'd that ball travel so far?"
That's exactly right. You didn't even have to really wind back on that one.
Yeah, so good.
All right, so here's the question that I told you I was going to answer this segment. Gregory on Twitter asked, if they sign Trent Williams, does that change my tuning? And I will also give you this on Trent Williams. This contract is structured in a way that they still have about $15 million in cap space right now, which could easily be added. You could add 10 to 12, I think, if they end up extending Matthew and moving most of that money back.
It's very easy to find a good amount of money.
Absolutely. One thing that I have not been shaken on over the course of the day is that I don't think this team can or will go into the NFL draft knowing, with the entire league knowing, that with the 31st overall pick, the Kansas City Chiefs select whatever tackle is available. Nope. Definitely not. They cannot.
Williams.
Nope. They cannot.
I don't know any other college running back.
Good. They cannot wait till 31 and then be absolutely pigeonholed into taking a tackle. That is a bad place to be drafting from. You want an example of that being a terrible situation that they had to get themselves out of that pigeonhole on? 2013. In 2013, what did this team need more than anything on planet Earth? This team needed a bleeping quarterback. And if they would have been there at number 1 overall and said, we got to take one of these quarterbacks, then Geno Smith would have been hanging around just long enough to ruin the entire timeline for Patrick Mahomes.
I can admit, when I have a bad take, my take back then was you just draft a quarterback number 1 and just hope for the best. And if it's bad, you're just back there. But the reality is, even those guys were worse than, oh boy.
It wasn't even, wasn't even like Sam Darnold.
Yeah, that wasn't
it was rough.
Like EJ Manuel and Geno Smith was, oh boy.
Toughie. A real toughie. You
really
cannot...
changed my tuning on drafting quarterbacks number 1 overall. Whew.
That was not a sound effect. That was just Beards doing some Foley work.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Whew. Titans just signed Bud Dupree.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Beards. Thank you.
Which is exciting for a large portion of Kentucky fans are Tennessee fans. Bud Dupree went to Kentucky, so people are pretty happy. And Matt Filer signed a 3-year deal with the Chargers. He's an offensive lineman. It just says O-line. I don't know what position he plays.
Just for the rest of the show here, from now on, Rudy, if you see news, throw your hand in the air, just sort of flag Beards down, and then he can interrupt me with the sounder. We got to get into a. We got to get.
Titans are signing former Browns offensive tackle Kendall Lamb to a 2-year deal worth up to $8.5 million.
So I still, at this point, do not think the Chiefs can, will, should end up in that spot at 31 overall where they have to take whoever it is. Maybe you love Samuel Cosmi. Maybe he's there, maybe he's not. Maybe they love Tevin Jenkins. Maybe he's there, maybe he's not. But if you get to a point where we've talked to Tucker Franklin and Jordan Foote last week, they both love Liam Eichenberg. He's probably there, but if the Chiefs really only love two of the tackles that could be there in that early 30s range.
Notre Dame, right?
Yes. If they only have an option for maybe two of those guys, Thuney of those guys, that they really like at 31, and only one of them is there at 28, are they now moving up a couple of spots?
Moving up to the Toonies?
I was going to say 29.
Are they going to have to scramble and then trade away picks and move up to get one of those guys? Are they going to find themselves settling for one of the dudes that is maybe their favorites are all gone in the teens?
Just don't give up Thuney assets.
Was in that case was Thuney short for too many?
Yes.
Yeah. It's pretty good. I liked it.
Thank you.
I didn't. You split the room, you know? All good jokes are divisive eventually, right? But I just think that ending up in a position like that where you know the position group you have to take, especially they're not picking, you know, 8th, where Sewell's going to be off the board, but maybe they're going to have their choice of everybody else.
Yeah.
You're down at 31 right now. It's a very dangerous spot to put yourself in. By the way, even if let's say that Thuney is playing left guard, and he's playing next to your rookie left tackle, he's making that dude's job easier, absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
But you also have Lucas Niang on the right side, and you still have tackles at that point who have 0 combined NFL snaps before week 1 begins. It's a gamble, man. It's a tough spot to put yourself in. So I still think at this point the Chiefs are going to sign a veteran left tackle.
And this is kind of branching away a little bit, but obviously this is why even at 31, the Chiefs, like especially at 31, if there's not a tackle there you like, you just it's just you draft best player essentially, right?
Right.
Like that, like the last thing. And unfortunately, I do think the Chiefs are like that concern is a 100% valid concern and something that could happen. Brett Veach, Brett. Here's the thing: like people, like anytime you criticize Brett Veach or Andy Reid, like Twitter comes out at you, and it's just like, but they won a Super Bowl. They can never grow. Here's the deal:
I have experienced that phenomenon. Yes,
they are geniuses. They make bad decisions. Breeland Speaks was a bad decision.
Trading up for Breeland Speaks. Yeah.
The how they decided to essentially protect Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Now, some of that was there wasn't a lot of options, there wasn't a lot of choices, but their choice that they went with didn't work.
Right.
They make bad decisions. I think they're smart enough to not make that bad decision of just drafting, the 8th best tackle because we just really need a tackle. But it is something to legitimately be concerned about, and also it's why I also agree with you where it would be surprising to me to see the 2 starting tackles for the Chiefs,
the Thuney starting tackles,
with 0 offensive snaps in the NFL week 1.
I also think that they're smart enough to be worrying about this right now. Also,
Yes.
So all of this to say, I don't think they're done. I don't know if it ends up needing to be Russell Okung on a 1 or 2 year deal that you maybe have him just plugged in for that first year, and you still then you can draft the tackle at 31 or in the 2nd or 3rd rounds that maybe you think that guy could step in a little bit later on. Absolutely, but then you're not going with multiple rookies at left and right tackle. I'm not the specific number, hard to say.
Maybe 3.
Could be 3 rookies at left and right tackle. See how deep
you don't know.
The rabbit hole goes.
We don't know. Maybe they decide to play. Hey, we're gonna play 7 offensive linemen.
You don't have to. You don't have. I can't not say have to. I don't think I can get around TOO. I can work around TWO, but I don't think I can work around TOO. You don't have to double down. There it is. On your rookies on the edges in a way that I think could be legitimately dangerous. Also, at this point, this team does not have a center on the roster.
That too.
I don't think that they can just kick. I've seen a lot of people be like, well, let's just move Allegretti to center. Maybe in a pinch, maybe as a backup, maybe as a versatile dude across the interior there.
I'm sure he's taking some snaps in practice, right? Taking some reps, but it's not.
He didn't even finish his career in college at center. He moved to guard.
It's not his thing. Like you see plenty of times, right? Like college offensive linemen, like a lot of NFL offensive linemen played either tackle or center in college, and then from there you moved them to guard for whatever, maybe they're just not quick enough to be on the tackle, whatever the reason may be. You see a lot of that. You don't see a lot of like, hey, being moved from center to guard in college and then going back to center in the NFL. Like that's typically just not that's not a transition that typically plays out.
And it's definitely, I definitely don't think you should be betting on it.
No. Again, in an emergency situation, sure.
But all of this though.
Plan one, no.
Now you have Lucas.
What about Plan Thuney?
I almost just flipped you off, which I guess I can do. Like it's Twitch.
Yeah, that's my fault. It's just a Plan A, and I said Plan 1 for some reason. I'll take that one. That's my fault.
You really need to attune for that one, like a tone. I don't know, man. I'm scrambling.
Attunement.
Yeah.
Attunement.
Yeah, that's right. We need to really recalibrate this segment.
Yeah.
Not any other word that also means recalibrate.
Retuning?
We could be tuning it. Yeah, we could be fine tuning it. Yeah. Boy, this show's been bad this hour. But so you see my point there of right tackle Lucas Niang, or even if you're optimistic, we haven't seen that dude play professional football. Left tackle TBD, center TBD. So one of my biggest concerns with the Thuney deal is that his signing is now pouring a lot of money into the guard spots without addressing the biggest needs on the offensive line, which is left tackle, center, maybe right tackle. If they are able to also go get Trent Williams, then I go from kind of lukewarm on the Thuney signing to being pretty jazzed about it, feeling pretty good. All right, so now the left side of your offensive line is Trent Williams and Joe Thuney. All right, cool. I could probably play center, and we would be okay.
We can make this work.
Andy Heck could make me get the ball to Patrick Mahomes before I was summarily murdered by whatever nose tackles across from me.
Yeah.
I would have one snap, and then I'm literally dead. But I got one snap in me. And again, the thing that I'd like to clarify, and that I tried to clarify on Twitter, and that I think, I think Twitch and I think the listening audience right now generally understands better than the people who are only consuming what I'm saying on Twitter. But I feel like the energy in my mentions of people who have been responding to my tweets has not at all been matching what I'm actually feeling about this deal, which is that I'm kind of lukewarm about it. He is absolutely going to make this offensive line better immediately in a way that is going to be, I think, palpable. For me, it's a question of how palpable. Is it guaranteed money? All of that guaranteed money, taking that into account, what is that going to do kind of budgetarily? How are the Chiefs planning into their future? And there's just a lot of moving parts there. It's not like they drafted a running back. You know what? Let's take a break.
At JB Brisco, at Beards McFly, at Not That Rudy, at Sports Radio 810. Just do it already.
Picture this. Fresh air. Your worries falling to the wayside. A cold cocktail as the sun warms you. Good conversation only occasionally slows down as you take a perfect bite of our famous $20 12-ounce Angus wood-fired grilled Kansas City strip and fries. It's patio season at Red Door, and it doesn't get much better than this. Make a reservation at one of Red Door's 5 Kansas City locations. We'll see you on the patio.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshares. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, well, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder and CEO of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And the process started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. Sounds crazy, right? Well, the crazy thing is, this never ends. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. I guarantee if we can't cancel your timeshare, you'll pay nothing.
Were you lied to when buying a timeshare and want out? Get the facts about timeshare cancellation. Call Wesley now for your free information kit. 800-384-7878. 800-384-7878. 800-384-7878.
The Kansas City Mavericks are back on the ice, and fans are welcome. A limited number of socially distant tickets are available for every home game. You can also stream every game from the comfort of your own home. Visit KCMavericks.com to get your hockey fix in Mavs country at the Cable Dahmer Arena. KC Mavericks Hockey is a family-friendly destination with affordable ticket prices and free parking. Come out and cheer on the Mavs. Get your tickets today at KCMavericks.com. Go Mavs! Squeaky doors, clogged sinks, finicky engines. When things break around the house, you take care of it. However, when something's off in the bedroom, you just try not to think about it. Come on, man, what are you waiting for? Take care of it. Go to GetRoman.com/JakeG now. Why Roman? Because you get a free online evaluation and ongoing care for ED, all from the comfort and privacy of your home. A U.S. licensed healthcare professional will work with you to find the best treatment plan. If medication is appropriate, it ships to you free with 2-day shipping. The whole process is straightforward and discreet. Getting started is simple. Just go to GetRoman.com/JakeG and complete an online visit. Take care of your ED without leaving your home. Complete an online visit today to connect with a healthcare professional and take care of it. Go to GetRoman.com/JakeG now and you'll get $15 off your first month. That's GetRoman.com/JakeG. It's really time to take care of your ED. And remember, get started today and you'll save $15 off your first order of ED treatment.
Menards is filled with great ideas for getting your home organized. No matter your style, we've got the closet options for you. Start with a wood and metal closet system that's easy to install. Or upgrade to a customizable wooden Dakota closet system. Right now, all closet systems are 11% off. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through March 20th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
All month long, Hog Wild for Hoops is back at Zarda Barbecue. Dine in, drive through, or carry out our Hog Wild sandwich. Thinly sliced ham, fresh pulled pork, melted provolone, and 2 strips of bacon on a toasted Roma bun for just $7.99. And we'll throw in a side of Zarda's award-winning burnt-in beans for free. Come to Zarda Barbecue today for our Hog Wild sandwich. Available for a limited time with a side of burnt-in beans for only $7.99. Zarda Barbecue. Come get some.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
I've gotten 2 thumbs up, by the way, on the rib puns. I just got notifications pop up of people validating my rib pun. So, Beards, you can go to hell.
On Sports Radio 810, WHB.
The Twitch is doing wonderful things once again today, so I will do the thing I told you that I would do. Thanks to... Thanks to Claude for the tier 1, the Claude for the 1 month tier 1 subscription. Thank you to Credible Hulk 85 for subscribing with Prime. Thank you to Milltime for the tier 1 month sub. How am I doing at being a Twitch streamer?
I would say you're doing pretty good.
Should I get cat ears for my headphones?
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I think you should.
I think I should.
And I mentioned this before. Tomorrow, whenever my paycheck hits my account, so during the show tomorrow, I will gift out a sub to someone.
Excellent.
For the time being, every paycheck, basically, I will gift out a sub, and as the Twitch grows, I may gift out more, but probably not. But maybe it might just be one.
We need to get some of the money for the subs directly to you, so that you can put it back in the economy.
But I'm happy.
Rudy Bucks.
I'm happy. Ooh, our channel points, should they just be called like Rudy Bucks?
Rudy Bucks? I don't hate that. And the next person that subscribes at a tier Thuney, you get a free lifetime subscription.
If we could change the names of the tiers to tier Thuney, oh boy.
I would not hate that.
That would be good.
We could have tier 1 Thornhill.
Hey,
we could have Joe.
You got 20 minutes left in the break.
Thanks, Beards. I appreciate that. Beards, pay attention!
The Claude on Twitch has broken news that Carl Lawson is signing with the Jets.
Thank you, Claude.
Defensive end from the Bengals.
So we can have tier
now
1.
With the Jets.
We can have tier 1 Thornhill, tier Thuney, and then tier
3 Pete? Like it's goals, right?
They gotta
like
win a second one.
Yeah,
though.
but like it's goals. And so like tier 3s are the goals. We want you to subscribe to tier 3. Just like a 3.
So it's a tier AFC. Could it be a tier AFC 3-peat? There might be another one.
You can say 3-peat and just have it however you want it to be.
We're also on the Twitch experimenting with successfully being able to run ads just during our ads. So if we do run a mid-roll, I promise you will not miss any actual show. And if you subscribe, you won't see them at all. Also saw people again asking about the idea for the Twitch chat, what if we just didn't have commercials and we left our mics on? that is something we would have to do. Don't shake your head at me, Beards. Like, I don't know that that's not something we have the capability to do right now. I understand.
One day. It's possible
something we
one
used
day.
to be able to do over on the ESPN Kansas City side of things.
We just don't have the setup right now.
And listen, I mean, if you get, if one of you right now just gifts like 100 gifted stubs, and maybe we can ride this rocket ship to the moon, then we'll work on a system to have a little behind-the-scenes extra something.
Jason's talked about wanting to kind of redo the system in there that would allow us to do it.
Too.
We're just kind of waiting for that.
Have you specifically brought that idea up to Jason and seeing if we can have that?
Not that specifically.
Asking him maybe tomorrow. Hey, can we work that capacity?
We're just
kind of
still waiting on the budget.
Well, I
Stuff
mean,
isn't cheap.
Right.
So give us money, Twitch.
Yeah, I would say do that. Matt Derrick's next. Tuning in.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
What's up, Kansas City? Jake Gutierrez here to tell you about my friends from Lightstream, a division of SunTrust Bank. Are you thinking about the high interest rate credit cards you used over the holidays? I am. When it comes to refinancing your credit cards, you've got options. But only Lightstream was ranked #1 by J.D. Power for customer satisfaction with personal loans. Lightstream's credit card consolidation loans start at just 5.95% APR with autopay and excellent credit. You could save yourself thousands in interest. You can even get your money the same day that you apply. Apply today for a credit card consolidation loan from the company J.D. Power, ranked #1 for customer satisfaction in personal loans. Plus, get an additional interest rate discount simply by going to lightstream.com/Jake. It's lightstream.com/Jake. Subject to credit approval, rates range from 5.95% APR to 19.99% APR. Include 0.50% autopay discount. Lowest rates require excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply. Offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/Jake for more information.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Your home for March Madness. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
3-ball, count it. Butler right corner to T. 3, yes. Marcus Garrett looking to drive, gets to the cup. Right hand runner goes. Frazier with a 3, and he stuck it from way out top. Rebound Roos. Brooks saves it, finds Dickinson for a 2-hand stop.
The road to the Final Four starts here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
It's been called incredible, a car lover's definition of nirvana. The Aristocrat Motors pre-owned department. Choose from over 150 cars, sports cars, SUVs, and trucks. Enjoy the finest, most professional buying experience in the city. Aristocrat Motors has the car that will work for you and the car that will fit your needs. From Alfa Romeo to Volkswagen, they're your home for quality. Aristocrat Motors, I-35 and Shawnee Mission Parkway, or online at aristocratmotors.com.
We've been known as one of the top-rated lawn and tree companies in the Midwest for over 30 years. And last year, our 5-star ratings grew another 400%. And I think I know why. This is Larry Ryan at Ryan Lawn and Tree. And for some, seeing is believing. It's one thing to hear me talk on the radio about our college-degreed turf managers, horticulturists, and certified arborists. It's another thing altogether to actually watch them practice their craft at your home. And that's exactly what happened last year. Working from home, our customers saw our Ryan Pros in action, and your reviews made me feel very blessed. Ryan Pros are not low-paid seasonal workers like the other guys hire. They are employee owners recruited from the best college horticulture programs in the country. Visit us at ryanlawn.com today and have a Ryan Pro out for a free estimate. I think you'll notice a difference the moment you see that clean red truck. That's ryanlawn.com.
March Madness is back, and so is Sports Radio 810's Bracket Challenge. Go to 810WHB.com and click on the Bracket Challenge icon to get signed up today. You can win great prizes from Hy-Vee, 23rd Street Brewery, and a $500 gift card to Shaman's Leawood Total Wellness. Head to 810WHB.com and click on the Bracket Challenge icon to get signed up. Then pick your teams and sit back and enjoy the madness. Brought to you by CBD American Shaman, 23rd Street Brewery, Hy-Vee Plus, and Xfinity Mobile.
Kansas City's favorite sports station, 20 years and counting. Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City.
Jim basketball, it's the NBA on ESPN tonight with the Brooklyn Nets looking for yet another home win, up on the New York Knicks 52-41, just over 5 minutes to go in the opening half. The Bucks lead in D.C. down to a dozen. They play the fourth quarter against the Wizards, while the Spurs are up 9, 55-46 in Detroit. Meantime, UConn women's basketball coach Gino Auriemma, testing positive for COVID-19, is isolating at home and can rejoin the team as early as March 24th. The rest of the team testing negative in advance of their game against High Point in the NCAA Tournament on Sunday. They are one of the 4 1 seeds. North Carolina State, the overall 1 seed for the women's tournament. The Patriots handing out over $200 million in the first day of NFL free agency, adding 7 players, including Matthew Judon, the pass rusher, ex of the Ravens, and Jonnu Smith, the tight end, ex of the Titans. Louis Riddick on Bill Belichick this offseason.
He is going to keep firing, and he is going to be a player in the draft as well. I'm telling you, New England's coming out the gates absolutely on fire. And look, it's just going to be this way right up until we kick off in September. Bill's got a point to prove, and he's trying to prove it right now.
A lot of work done in day one. Meantime, the Patriots did lose guard Joe Thuney to a 5-year, $80 million deal to the Chiefs. That's the highest overall value thus far in free agency. Bud Dupree from the Steelers to the Titans, multi-year deal that gets about $16 million a year. Carl Lawson to the Jets, $45 million, $30 guaranteed over 3 seasons.
Coming up Tuesday, there's only one female who can make the claim of MLB general manager. So what's it like for Kim Ng living in that world? We'll ask her Tuesday at 9:10 Eastern on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin on ESPN Radio.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
Lock your doors and pull up your socks. My mother used to say. I don't know why, but that's what she used to say.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
We're going to talk about a whole bunch of Kansas City Chiefs things with Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest momentarily. But whenever news breaks. Beards!
Shams has tweeted.
Shams?
NBA Shams. Shams, who breaks all the NBA stuff.
I think it's actually pronounced Shams.
Shams, it is. It's Shams Charania. Yeah, I nailed the last name. Applause, please. Anyways, free agent quarterback Jameis Winston has agreed to a deal to re-sign with the New Orleans Saints. I can only assume, now he has not reported this, I can only assume it's like 10 years, $300 million, but like 299 of that million are voidable. That's my guess.
That was the same joke that I was going to make, and I'm annoyed that you beat me to it. It's a 97-year, $9 billion deal for Jameis Winston.
I beat you to it.
It's a 2-year deal? Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest joins us now. You can follow him on Twitter. Breaking news is that Matt Derrick is joining us now. You can follow him on Twitter at Matt Derrick. Read all of his work at ChiefsDigest.com. I think for the first time ever today, Matt and I settled what time he was going to be on the show tonight, exclusively in GIFs. So he's a multimedia star as well, Matt Derrick. How are you doing, Matt? Beard, stop it.
I'm doing great. You know, I was actually thinking about it earlier. We probably, should share with everyone that 85% of our text conversations are just through GIFs.
Yeah.
So we just shoot them back and forth, and it's. I think we're both raising each other's game. I mean,
Absolutely.
I know you bring out the best in me.
Oh, no question. The absolute very least is you just have, good teammates. Like you said, you bring out the best in each other's game. You elevate the specific parts of their game that just is itching to come out for you. It's an unbelievable encyclopedic library of Schitt's Creek gifs. Like that is with an SCHITT. Just so it's a name. It's okay. We can say it. Like your reservoir there is unreal. For me, it's mostly now becoming numbers. So I've gone to a lot of the count from Sesame Street, going like 8 or 9 It's really it's been a real treat.
And I was able to I had to reply to you today with a GIF of Matt Moore.
Yes.
Because apparently one does not exist of Kyle Orton.
What?
In whatever the
There's no Kyle Orton. Like Kyle Orton's. Name me a more giftable quarterback than Kyle Orton.
I don't know that I can.
I'm not gonna pull up my phone.
I don't know that I can. It's incredibly disrespectful.
I've got work to do, guys. I'm gonna zone out for a little bit.
Breaking news. Rudy's gonna zone out for a little bit, which is just so unlike him.
We're talking about Mondesi?
Yeah, we're talking about Bobby Witt.
There's no
Matt.
Kyle Orton gifts.
Unbelievable. Inexcusable.
I'm done with Apple.
1 year deal worth up to $12 million with the Saints for Jameis Winston. All right, last one, Beards.
Yeah, you guys beat me to that Jameis Winston joke, too, so count me in on that one.
In your defense, you were on hold.
Also, Matt, we beat you to that Jameis Winston joke, Thuney.
That does not deserve.
No, it doesn't even. It doesn't deserve a chuckle. It doesn't deserve a fake laugh. It doesn't deserve. Our entire first hour was me trying to talk about the Joe Thuney signing. I figured out that his name was pronounced Thuney today. I was gonna guess Thuney, and then it clearly wasn't that. And then the first hour was just me trying to do that, and then Beards and Rudy interrupting with Joe Thuney jokes.
It gets to the point where every time you said like Joe Thuney, I didn't know if you were about to make a pun
100%.
or like an actual like football take.
I completely stopped understanding the word that I was using.
Yeah. It was Thuney confusing.
Get out of here. Go to hell. Go Thuney hell.
It's gonna be really rough when Joe Thuney has a knee.
Here is the absolutely inhuman, inexcusable joke that multiple people made in our chat. Because I was talking about the Chiefs' new guard, and then also a guard who played really well at the beginning of last season, and somebody said that Kelechi similarly injured Thuney.
Toonies.
It's really bad. It's really bad. It's really bad.
Somebody also said Kelechi similarly probably wishing he had two knees right now.
It's just so. He's rehabbing, and he looked great in the Instagram videos, so I feel like we can make jokes about it now. I like to clarify, we didn't make jokes about it. We just amplified the tasteless jokes from the Twitch chat.
Yes.
So shame on you, Twitch chat. Please don't go anywhere.
But
I love
absolutely
you.
laughed at them.
Well, maybe you laughed at them, but that's because you're a bad person. I want to ask, shut up, Beards. Go away. Leave the studio. I want to ask Matt about the moves the Chiefs have made and the moves that may come next. So Matt, let's go back in time a little bit. Today was a weird one because I just know that I was firmly just planted in my office chair for hours and hours and hours on end, waiting for news of any sort. We got a little bit of a rumor here and there that the Chiefs were out there contending for Trent Williams. Then it got down to maybe being a two-team race. It sounded like the Colts had dropped out, and it was mostly Chiefs-Niners. He is still not signed as we speak right now, so I think that is very interesting and very relevant. But then, ultimately, the news that breaks is the Chiefs signed Joe Thuney on a deal that makes him the highest-paid guard in NFL history. What did you think as soon as you saw that news break?
I was thinking that we're all idiots.
Yeah.
No one on God's green earth saw this one coming. No. I mean, pretty much all the conversation that you and I talked last week about the Chiefs, which admittedly was only about probably 5 minutes, was all a waste of time for people. So, we really nailed that.
Right.
No, I mean, this wasn't obvious, but, I think if you're a Chiefs fan, I mean, you got to trust in Veach because he's a really good player. So it's not like they got a stiff that they gave it just a bunch of money to. I mean, Thuney's a really good player. He should provide a real anchor in that interior. Which is something that they have been missing. I mean, Kelechi Osemele did kind of come in and asserted a little bit of authority for a few games before he got hurt. But, Thuney's the kind of guy that can come in and be that kind of enforcer in the middle. And that attitude is probably something that they want to instill in that offense across the board. And I think you'll kind of bring that in others too. So, I mean, it's a good move. I mean, I still wonder who's going to play tackle. I'm not sure that anybody's made a convincing argument about how that's going to look.
Yeah.
But, no, I mean, it's a really good player. Yeah, the Chiefs had to pay a lot. But that's what you have to do in free agency. If you want a guy, you got to overpay for it. So that's what they did. But I think they'll probably be happy with the returns.
So with that, I mean, you mentioned the tackle thing. I think that's sort of the elephant in the room might be a bit strong at the moment. I don't know. But the issue still, and honestly, the reason that I was surprised by this move, and to be honest, have been a little bit lukewarm on it, is it universally seems to be agreed that this free agent class had 3 blue chip offensive linemen. You had Thuney as a guard, Lindsley as the center, and then Trent Williams as a tackle. Those three guys happen to all be at different positions, but seem to clearly be the three guys that are going to demand the most in terms of money, have had the best resume and all of that. If you would have had me rank those three guys coming into today, I would have gone Williams, Lindsley, and Thuney third. He would have been the last choice of that group and the last that I would have predicted from that group, because it seems like, my theory at least, is that it's always easier to patch up a hole at guard than it is at tackle or center. Do you concur with that, generally speaking, and do you think that logic was reasonable to have coming into today?
Well, to a degree, I mean, I think you can make the case that that's what the Chiefs have kind of done the last few seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, they've just kind of tried to patch around Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz and just feel like, okay, we got the bookends, and then, we'll just, other than LDT, they haven't plowed a lot of money into that position, and frankly, even the LDT deal was a long time ago. So it's not like they've invested a ton of resources, even the Lucas Niang pick. I mean, that's the first time they've really invested any resources on the interior. Now, the other argument that you can make is that, if you're going to go into this season and you're going to have someone untested, unproven, maybe a little bit less experienced at tackle, you know what? Thuney's a really good guy to have next to him. Because now if you are going to be in a position where your tackle isn't dominant, hey, it's really nice to have somebody next to them who is dominant.
So, I mean, I was going to ask, and that may be the answer, so if so, that's fine. But why do you think they did decide specifically on Thuney? Also knowing that he was the first of those three guys to be kind of officially off the market. Lindsley signed shortly thereafter, Williams still pending at the moment. But why do you think, I mean, again, I, as a bit lukewarm at the moment, think he's going to make this offensive line absolutely better. But why do you think they chose him?
I mean, I would have to think that age is a factor. You are getting essentially, Thuney's going to be 29 in November, so you're kind of getting his 29, 30, and 31 seasons. If you look at this as a 3-year, $48 million deal, which kind of is. Hey, Williams is a fantastic player, but I've got serious concerns about, plowing that much money into a guy who's 33 years old. I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, that's 5 years between those two guys. And I think that's a significant difference. And because we have not yet seen Brett Veach, give a lot of money to anybody who's 30 and older. And this is kind of borderline. I mean, you are getting into, like I said, you're getting into the age 31 season for Thuney. But I think that would be the difference between the two. And, I say that as if I'm precluding the idea that they're going to sign Trent Williams too. I don't think that's going to happen. I can't rule anything out at this point. I mean, it's the NFL. Crazy things happen. But yeah, I mean, I would have to think that factor is probably the biggest one. I would still expect Trent Williams is also going to be a little bit more expensive, I would expect. So maybe that's a factor too. But I have to think that age is probably the biggest difference between those two players.
And then how much do you think he ultimately will move the needle? It's obviously still a little bit tough to say without knowing who's going to be starting around him. But if you have to, if you fill in those spots, whatever way you think is most likely, how impactful do you think Thuney can be?
I mean, with the resources that the Chiefs have, I think you got to think that he can be pretty impactful. If for no other reason than, he's an all-around great player. I mean, it's not like he's just really good at one thing. I mean, he's an excellent run blocker, and he's an excellent pass blocker. So he's going to be able to do both. But, what's one thing that the Chiefs' run game has really lacked the last couple of seasons has been, being able to get their back some space up the middle. And I got to think that, if I'm Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I got to love this signing because this is the kind of guy that you're going to want to run behind. I mean, this is a dominant, run blocker, run road grader kind of guy. So I got to think that that's going to be really exciting for Eric Bieniemy and the other guy on the offensive right in that running back room, because I think you're going to be able to do some things behind him.
I think you're 100% right. It also does fill me with a special sort of sadness that the Chiefs' last first-round pick and then their big offseason signing this year seem to be, they were running back and a guard that are going to help the running game. I mean, it's just...
formation, baby. Halfback dive.
It just fills me with a special type of dread. If there's a spot in the running game that you want, though, to be more deadly, it's the short yardage stuff. And you're right. I mean, they never got pretty much any push at any point last year, so... If you think you can always get 2 yards by going behind Thuney, then there's value to that. Even I will admit that there can be value to that. I don't know if it's $16 million a year or so, but there's something there.
Well, 3rd and goal from the 2, Andy Reid doesn't have to, rely on finding a cocktail napkin with a play that he came up with. He can just say, hey, Clyde, here's the ball. There's Thuney. Go run behind him.
Right. Right. Go put your helmet in between Thuney's numbers and then grab onto his shoulder pads and ride him like a bull at a PBR and just get in there and then you all of a sudden you have 2 yards. I think that's reasonable. Do you think that you said you wouldn't completely rule this out. You're also not expecting Trent Williams. Do you think this gives a certain hint one way or another as to what they're going to do in terms of both of their tackle spots?
I mean, it would be a pretty crazy shoving all your chips into the middle of the table kind of move. So, I mean, how rarely does it happen that a team goes out and adds 2 big-name free agents like that on an offensive line? I mean, it seems like the odds are stacked against it. And like I said, for no other reason, I think Trent Williams is going to be even more expensive. Yeah. So no matter how you structure the deal, you still got to try and figure out how to fit those guys into it. Hey, until the deals are done, I'm not going to say no, but I always felt like that Trent Williams, as much as I think that the Chiefs would be tempted, it just doesn't seem like it fits for what they want to do philosophically, big picture.
Yeah. So then what do you think the move is going to be? I've heard from a number of people that it's just, we talked to, on the show most recently, Matt Verderam on Friday just said, do you think Lucas Niang is just going to be the starting right tackle? And he just went, yes. And then he answered it further. But do you think that Lucas Niang at this point is just going to be the right tackle day one?
I think he's certainly in the mix. I mean, now it makes me, wonder who is going to be the other guard? I mean, is that somebody who's on the roster right now? We've had, obviously, it seems very likely that Mike Rimbers is going to be back on with this team next year. Is he the guard? Is he the right tackle? I mean, I think you'd be fine with Mike Rimbers playing either one of those spots. Mm-hmm. I would expect that the plan right now would be that if they, hey, you get Rimbers back in the fold, is that you just say, hey, you know what, Mike Rimbers right now maybe in pencil is our right tackle, but we want Lucas Niang to go out there and try and beat him and win that job. And if that's the case, great. But the thing that I take away from this Thuney signing more than anything else, and a few other people that I've talked to, have the same kind of feeling, is there must be a left tackle in this draft class that Brett Veach loves. And you know why? It looks like this is a pretty deep draft class for tackles. And if he's got somebody circled, I mean, I think there's a distinct chance that's who your starting left tackle is this year.
The thing about that just freaks me out, and we've spent a lot of time talking about tackles, especially after the Schwartz and Fisher moves, which also I guess we haven't talked about. That was last week and also 1,000 years ago. But the issue that I keep running into there is that, if they had a guy that they loved and they were picking second or third, then I'd be like, all right, yeah, that's fine. That is a, legitimate plan in place. But they're picking 31, and so even if there's a guy that they think they love more than anybody else, which always freaks me out a little bit because there have been some of those guys in recent draft classes that have not necessarily panned out all that well for the Chiefs in terms of, like edges they've moved up for and whatnot. But if there's a guy that they say, you know what, we don't think Liam Eichenberg is going anywhere up until 31, so he's our dude at 31, there's still a chance that he slips away somewhere before then, and now they're absolutely pigeonholed into having to draft a tackle in that spot, regardless of who it ends up being. And I don't know if you agree with that if they don't sign anybody else, but I feel like if the only dude on the depth chart at that spot is Mike Rimbers at draft time, they've got to take somebody there, and that feels like a very dangerous place to sort of, again, pigeonhole yourself into. Do you agree with that, or are you a little less concerned with it?
I agree with parts of it, and especially the pigeonholed part, because you absolutely nailed it and correct. I mean, really, the only other time that the Chiefs pigeonholed themselves recently into a spot where they had to draft a player at a certain spot was 2018 when they painted themselves into a corner and had to draft an edge rusher.
Yeah. And
then all the edge rushers go. They have to make a move to get the last one that, was considered in that, let's call it the second tier.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't work out for them. I would put the McCole Hardman selection kind of in that category. Yep. But you know what? That was not the Chiefs painting themselves in the corner.
Right.
That was other circumstances kind of painting themselves into that. Because, and even if they liked McCole Hardman and they took him later, I think they probably would have preferred to go a different direction there.
Yeah.
But, I will say this. I mean, left tackle, one, it's a position that normally doesn't bust that bad. I mean, even if you get a first-round left tackle that doesn't turn into a Pro Bowl left tackle, usually they're serviceable. I mean, even if they end up becoming a right tackle, they usually become pretty good somewhere. That most of them don't just blow out. And then two is that if there's a guy that you really think is a linchpin of your offensive line for the next 10 years, go get him. I mean, don't hold yourself to 31. Be willing to make a move, because if you got to get to 15 to get somebody that you think is an all-pro left tackle, why wouldn't you move, of this year's first, next year's first, throw in a second? Go get him. I mean, that's the one position that I think it makes sense to do that with.
I think if they do get to that point and they have not signed a veteran, I would start seeing if I could talk somebody into making a bet with me about the Chiefs moving up. I think that's a pretty good call. That being passive all the way to that spot would be both very kind of un-Vici and also it would reflect sort of questionably, I think, on that draft class, because all these dudes at this point are pretty much the same. I bet they would have a preference. Although the Thuney signing has been enough to give us a pretty good conversation on the offensive line. We haven't heard anything about center or tackle, as we've been talking about. But partially, I'm just curious, but also what you were thinking whenever that news dropped, and I think it was Thursday, that Fisher and Schwartz were both released within minutes. And also then we later on got the news the same day that Austin Ryder wouldn't be coming back in all likelihood. Obviously, we've kind of assessed what comes next now, but as that news was coming out, as you have since kind of reflected on their time in Kansas City a little bit, what did you make of that trio of moves, obviously with the tackles being the headliners?
Yeah, the moves with Fisher and Schwartz, it did surprise me. I really expected all along that they were going to try and find a way to keep those guys back. Just tack on some voidable years so that they could take that money from this year and really spread it around. But I think it comes back to the conversation we talked about earlier, which is that that this is kind of the old Andy Reid Philadelphia philosophy, which is that once guys get to 30 and they're maybe no longer in your plans, don't be afraid to walk away. And yeah, you know what? Maybe those guys could have given him some value this year at some point. Although with Fisher, I mean, I think that the timeline that we were kind of getting from the Chiefs was through rose-colored glasses. I mean, what you were most likely looking at is that Eric Fisher gets on a football field in August, maybe, and is ready by November. That's your dream scenario. I still think and get the feeling from people that I've talked to that it was really turned into one of those scenarios with the cap, because Brett Veach told us during Super Bowl week that they had scenarios in line for everything from the floor of $175 million to all the way up if the cap went to $195. And I think there's a pretty good chance that if the cap came in at $195, one or two of those guys may still be around. But at $182.5, they can't have all they want. And so I think that probably was the thing that sealed the fate, the fact that one of those guys for sure is not going to be around for the beginning of the season. They're both really questionable. They're both in their 30s. It's a lot of red flags. And I think that's too many red flags for the Chiefs to have, and that they're comfortable with once again trying to win Super Bowls.
Yeah, I think that's right. Did you get surprised at all by the report about Austin Ryder? Because I'll tell you also, I was also a little bit surprised about that one for this reason. It's just another hole to fill now. We're at this point here today where the only signing the Chiefs have made is Thuney, which is fine. We're 8 hours into the tampering period or whatever. But I kind of thought, if it's not completely shattered, don't fix it. And it seemed like that was a fair enough assessment of Austin Ryder in the middle of the offense. So were you surprised at all by that? And also now, do you have a guess as to what the center plan's going to be for this team?
Yeah, the center, I mean, I think they at least have somebody on the roster right now who can play center. They feel like Nick Allegretti could be that guy. Okay. And obviously he's coming off a year starting. Mm-hmm. So, they feel like if they had to go out and play tomorrow, they've got at least a center on the roster. Hey, a guy like Daniel Kilgore, I think, is possibly still in the picture. Some of it is that, the Chiefs with those vets in that kind of category, and, the Chiefs went through this last year with Stefan Wisniewski, and, Mike Pennell kind of fit in that category as well. I think DeMarcus Robinson, Bashad Breeland. I mean, there was a few of them last year that, hey, the Chiefs made some initial offers that weren't necessarily great.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the markets collapsed and those players couldn't find anything, they came back.
Yeah.
Austin Ryder, at this point, this is his chance to get the bag. So, no, it doesn't surprise me at all that, the Chiefs have said, hey, you know what, your asking price, not in our budget right now. But, hey, you know what, if things don't pan out, if the market doesn't come the way that Austin Ryder hopes, I won't ever shut the door on anybody coming back. So there's a lot of guys that I think, hey, just depends on how the market plays out, whether or not they could be back. Same thing true again this year with a guy like DeMarcus Robinson. I expect him to leave, but if the market doesn't develop, why wouldn't he be back? But I do. I think it looks increasingly like Austin Ryder might be able to find a deal. And at this point in his career, he's got a Super Bowl ring. He is, I think, getting ready to turn 30. Yeah, he's 29 now. So get as much money as you can, and that's probably not in Kansas City.
Yeah, I think that's fair. What about everything else that has and hasn't happened so far today? Again, Thuney is the signing they've made. We know his first-year cap hit's about $4.5 million. With the reports we had earlier today, it sounds like the Chiefs should have at least about 20 to play with after restructuring Mahomes' deal and reportedly moving around some money on Jones and Kelsey's. May have just been some little automatic conversions and stuff. They also have not yet extended Tyrann Mathieu, which could free up more money if they'd like to do that. But there is still money in the 2021 budget as things currently stand. They have not made any moves outside of Thuney at this point. Did anything happen today, either in the pretty quiet to this point wide receiver market, in the edge rusher market, anywhere outside of the offensive line that we've already talked about so much that you thought that they would have or will soon be looking at?
Yeah, there hasn't been anybody that's gone off the board at this point. And I said, oh, gee, that's too bad. That guy really slipped through the cracks. You're seeing a lot of deals done that I think that the Chiefs probably just priced out of it. Especially since they decided to put their money into the offensive line. Yep. You can't have everything. And, and Brett Veach even made the reference. And this has been something that's been consistent with him, at least, for the first few years of his tenure, is that he's not afraid to, sit back and wait for the first wave to go through and then look for the bargains in the second and third waves. So I thought all along that's probably where the Chiefs are going to be most active. It's where they've gotten some, really good finds in the past. Frankly, Austin Ryder was kind of one of those finds in the past, coming over from Cleveland. I think that's probably where they're going to, look for. Yeah, I think they'd love to have an edge rusher, but, for the guys that went today, I'm not sure that any of them were good fits or good cost fits. So I don't think that the Chiefs probably feel like they missed out on anything there.
Yeah. Even the guys there was a little bit of just sort of not even smoke because it wasn't coming from the Chiefs, but just some talk about Okwara, who just ended up back in Detroit, and Corey Davis signed a little bit ago. But you're right. Those are guys that just seem like they got deals better than what the Chiefs were probably going to offer. So I guess I'll let you go on this one then, Matt. In terms of Brett Veach kicking up his feet throughout the rest of the first wave, if it is that happens, what do you expect? Are there going to be the positions they're going to continue to look at in that next wave? Whenever we talk to you next week, we're going to go, all right, so they added Thuney in wave 1, and then in wave 2 and 3, they bolstered these positions, and now we're looking ahead to the draft.
I think it's the usual suspects. I still think they got to be looking for a tackle, at least somebody who could be a swing tackle, if not start on the left side if needed. They need an edge rusher. They need somebody who can get after the quarterback opposite Frank Clark. I think they're always going to be looking for corners. They need some, honestly, they could use some special teams guys. So whether it's, if it's some guys coming back that, are free agents right now, or looking at some guys that can maybe play in a secondary or play at receiver that, have a lot of special teams value, I think that's something that they would be looking for. But yeah, to me, I think offensive line, DN, corner are probably the positions that I wouldn't be surprising to dip into.
This is the actual last thing. This might be a bit procedural. I think they still have a couple of days for tendering their restricted free agents. We got news that they won't be, again, Ryder is going to be unrestricted, but it sounds like they won't be tendering Dion Yelder. Do you expect the rest of those guys, specifically I'm thinking about Travarius Ward, I just haven't heard anything about Ward up to this point. I'm guessing they're just waiting for to get to the end of the deadline to put a tender on him. Do you have any read on that at all?
Yeah, that's one thing. Brett Veach has been, usually a deadline guy with those things. I mean, I know from even hearing that sometimes they haven't even gotten in touch with the agents until hours before the deadline to let them know whether they're going to be doing tenders or not. So that's not out of the normal procedure for Veach. But no, Traverse Ward, I don't think there's any way that you don't tender him. Absolutely. I mean, if somebody wants to sign him, great. I mean, you'd like to be able to get something back. But I think that he will be absolutely tendered. Can't rule out trying to get deals done with these guys too. So that's always a possibility. But and the way that, honestly, Brad Veach was talking about Andrew Wiley, I mean, I'd expect him to be back too. So we'll see with some of those guys.
Cool. At one point today, I saw somebody tweet about Traverse Ward, and I went, oh, God, I haven't heard anything either. Oh, no, what's going on? I figured it'll just be taking it down to the wire. I got breaking news. That's the end of our segment with Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest. I have more breaking news. You can follow him on Twitter at Matt Derrick. Check out at triumphbooks.com/ChiefsWin. I don't even have the graphic up. I just know that URL by memory at this point. Thank you, Matt, as always. And I think, Rudy, I have a question for you. Breaking news. We're probably going to have a show next Monday also, right?
Next Monday we will
not have a show.
There's
breaking news.
NCAA Tournament.
Matt, we will not talk to you next Monday. Thank you for being here this Monday. We'll figure out if we talk to you next week or if you just have a week of not having to be on a show that does this to you.
Actual breaking news.
Oh, well.
I need my news broken all the time, guys.
Go ahead, Beards. Have actual breaking news.
Steve Prom has been fired from Iowa State.
Really?
Yep.
Sounds like he's going to have to go prom. What, guys? Thuney soon? Thank you, Matt.
I'm gone.
Did you know you can listen to Almost Entirely Sports anywhere, anytime? Well, you can. Just search for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
What if you could get world-class wine at an affordable price delivered right to your door in the safety of your own home? Cameron Hughes Wine has a unique business model, sourcing top-rated wines directly from the best wineries around the world. Cameron Hughes Wine is your personal sommelier, insider, and wine buyer. Currently available in limited quantities. Lot 747 Russian River Valley Pinot Noir, a smooth, savory gold medal Pinot from one of the best producers in California wine country at $16 a bottle. It's less than half of what you'd normally pay for this wine under its original label at the tasting room. And they have great news because today Cameron is offering a deal exclusively for 810 listeners. 20% off and free shipping on 3 or more bottles. All you have to do is enter the code NATE at checkout. Save money and drink the best wine. Go to chwine.com today to get 20% off the already great prices and free shipping when you buy 3 or more bottles. Just enter the code NATE at checkout. That's chwine.com with the code NATE for 20% off 3 bottles or more plus free shipping. Great wine, great prices delivered right to your door in the safety of your own home.
Guys, have some free time? PRA Health Sciences is seeking healthy, non-smoking men ages 18 to 45 to participate in a study of an investigational medication. Volunteers must be available for 4 stays of 3 nights each and 1 follow-up visit. Qualified participants may receive compensation up to $6,000 for time and travel. Call PRA today at 913-210-5900 or visit us on the web at prastudies.com/Lenexa.
Jason Anderson here. I don't have to tell you that shopping for a home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make. At First Mortgage Direct, they serve you in the most honest and transparent way. Whether you're buying your first home or refinancing to get cash out, they'll unleash the power of the right mortgage by helping you secure an outstanding mortgage rate. Helping you buy a home with an affordable purchase mortgage is their top priority, factoring in loan amount and credit profile, as well as down payment details to provide a mortgage solution just for you. Finding the best mortgage starts with your lender. So get started with First Mortgage Direct as you take one step closer to home ownership. 855-222-5102 is the number. If you're ready to take the first step in your home buying experience, you can go to fmdloans.com today or call 855-222-5102. Again, that's 855-222-5102. First Mortgage Direct, the first step to a better future.
First Mortgage Solutions, LLC, DBA First Mortgage Direct, NMLS ID number 244476.
Reed Buick GMC, your veteran-owned, family-owned Buick GMC dealership in Kansas City for over 31 years and counting. The biggest rebates of the year and 0% for up to 72 months on Terrains,
Acadias, Canyons, and all Sierras. Don't buy some other dealer's leftovers. We have hard-to-find 2021 GMC Sierras, Yukons, and Sierra Heavy Duties arriving daily. Reserve yours today. It will show up wrapped in plastic with your name on it. Check us out at reedbuickgmc.com. Reed Auto Group is values-driven.
QC Kinetics provided amazing pain relief for a former professional baseball player, and you have access to the same life-changing treatments as retired Braves pitcher Jose Alvarez.
I put a lot of stress and strain and work on my right arm, actually on my whole body, but my right elbow took the most of the damage with 3 surgeries.
Arthritis developed, and the pain was unbearable.
It wasn't just pain when I was trying to play sports. It was anytime I was moving the right elbow, it was hurting. It was pretty excruciating at times.
That's when Jose discovered QC Kinetics and their regenerative cell treatments that help the body heal itself, restoring damaged tissue and providing relief with no surgery or downtime. Jose's message to the medical professionals at QC Kinetics:
my elbow is feeling outstanding. Where were you 10 years ago, for crying out loud?
QC Kinetics is right here, off 435 and State Line, to give you relief. Call for your complimentary consultation, 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
That's all impressions lead to home. And for me, home is Steve Spagnuolo and Bill Clinton, and they're never good.
With Joshua Brisco.
But that's okay. But my new theory is, can I do a Pennywise the Clown impression? And if so, does it eventually turn into Steve Spagnuolo? Or Bill Clinton?
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Just me going, Georgie! Georgie, what time is it, Georgie? Where's my honey badger, Georgie? Where's my honey badger? No, this simply cannot be.
What?
Hold
I haven't seen anything
Hold
on
on.
Twitter.
No, this simply cannot be. Thanks to Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest for joining us again. No, this one's not gonna be.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Is it the fact that Marvin Bagley broke his hand?
No.
Someone tells me it's not. I was thinking that
this
exact
simply,
same thing.
This
but
simply cannot be. Beards, can I get the breaking news sounder, please? I have incredibly important breaking news. This cannot be real. I have a tweet from. I got it. Don't worry about it. I got it.
I'm just trying to guess.
No, it's not what you think. I got a tweet from Daniel Sperry.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Saying a friend of mine and I were talking about Rashawn Slater, but he typed Slayer. So I went to type in Slayer NFL, came across this player profile. It's a real thing. I found their player profile. I have now found their Wikipedia for former NFL player Dick Deerslayer. I'm now going to read.
Please do.
About DDS, as he's known. Is that also short for for some sort of medical degree or something, like a dentist? I think I've seen DDS on a door somewhere.
Doctorate in dentistry. Seems plausible.
Dick Deerslayer was a professional football player who played in the early National Football League. Being a Native American, Dick played for, I'm going to say Deerslayer, played for the Orang Indians during the 1922 season. The Indians were a team composed only of Native American players and based in La Rue, Ohio. The team, more notable for its halftime and pregame shows than its playing ability, was in existence for only 2 seasons. However, Deerslayer left the team and the league after playing in just 2 games in 1922. I mean, 2 games, huh? 2 games.
2 games?
Ugh.
Apparently the Bears were a suitor for Jameis Winston before he signed with the Saints.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
According to Jeremy Fowler of ESPN.
I don't think this happened when we were talking to Matt, but former Steelers offensive lineman Matt Fielder reached an agreement on a 3-year deal worth $21 million with the Chargers.
I said that in
Did
the
you?
first hour.
Well, breaking news. Rudy said that already.
I said it because it happened at the same time the Bud Dupree signing happened.
Did you call him Bud Dupree?
Bud.
Okay.
With a D.
No, Beards, it's hard to listen to. You've got to be more judicious about it.
Steve Prohm was fired. If you didn't hear.
Well, we did, because I made a very good joke about that one. I remember that happening because it gave me an opportunity to do something that would make me the star of the show again.
Understandable.
The reason that I
you hear about that Patrick Mahomes contract?
We'll talk about it in 20 minutes, the Connor Christopherson of Arrowhead Report, and also how he restructured the deal in a way that will benefit the Chiefs for years and years to come, because that is the structure of the deal.
But
Last one,
Josh,
Beards.
all the money. He doesn't care about winning.
Beards, you got to stop.
Can't tackle.
Beards, you got to stop now. What? What?
But what about the salary cap, Josh?
Beards, you got to stop. Beards, it's horrible to listen to. It's horrible, Beards. It's horrible to listen to.
But Josh, the Chiefs had to cut Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz.
We'll talk to Connor about it in 20 minutes.
Because Patrick Mahomes hates them.
But
he said so.
But Sam Hay is also of Arrowhead Report. I saw tweeted this, and maybe this is why I saw the Matt Feeler thing again, that right now the Chargers are building a little offensive line there with Feeler, Corey Lindsey in the middle, and then Brian Bulaga. When did he get there? Was he there last year? Was he hurt last year at some point?
I think so.
I feel like maybe he got hurt
Chargers
last
offensive
year.
lineman gets hurt for a
That's
year
what I'm
at some
thinking.
point or the
I don't remember
other.
seeing him on the field, at least in Week 17.
Bulaga. That's a good offensive lineman name, by
It
the way.
really is. But they're actually...
It's a good offensive lineman name. Yes, he played in 10 games for the Chargers this previous year.
Can you see when exactly he played?
I can't.
I'm curious if I missed him against the Chiefs once or twice. I don't know. But
you missed him. I also missed him.
But they're actually building a little offensive line there for Justin Herbert, which is good because for a little bit it was looking real sketchy for a minute. A little worried about old Justin Herbert.
Let's see. He played in Week 2 against the Chiefs. Well, he played in 8 snaps. Week 2 against the Chiefs, so he got hurt in that game.
Did he play in Week 17?
He was inactive.
Okay, so that know what, I feel okay about myself.
Yes, he played in 8 snaps against the Chiefs last year. And I feel like I do now remember him getting hurt against the Chiefs because I think I remember thinking to myself, oh, God, another Chargers offensive lineman has gotten hurt. Because it seems like every time they invest in the position, that guy gets hurt.
Yeah, that seems right, actually.
Like they have tried. It's just every time. Like I remember they drafted Forrest Lamp in the first round, and then he tore his ACL in rookie minicamp. Then he got a great endorsement deal with the company that makes lamps out of wood, which is great.
Yes,
Forrest Lamp.
I remember that now. I did not remember him until
the endorsement deal.
The Lamp endorsement deal. Yeah, that's absolutely.
I think he actually might have suffered. He might have missed 2 full seasons with like 2 separate ACL injuries.
But
Claude, you're very right, Claude. That's all I'm gonna say. You're very right.
You have to read it. At least read it.
Claude says Rudy is more handsome than I expected. You know what? I get that a lot. It is very off-putting, Claude.
Definitely. What's very off-putting?
My handsome.
That you're more handsome than he expected?
No, I'm just too handsome. I'm Thuney handsome, some would say.
I'm looking for 2 new people to do the show with. It's simply not true that you've gotten that a lot. Because the number of people who have ever heard you but not seen you and then saw you can't be that high. Although honestly, Rudy, this might be the week for you to capitalize on, the month for you to capitalize on that, because you found some new ears in the Border Patrol, but you're on the show here, so people can come over to the Twitch.
Yeah, subscribe to my OnlyFans. Isn't that the next step?
Beards, you've gotta stop. You've gotta. It's such a horrible noise to hear 1,000 times. It was supposed to be reserved.
What about 20,000?
Patriots re-signed.
You gotta. Live by the sword, die by the sword.
Very true. Patriots have re-signed Dietrich Wise, 4 years, max value of $30 million, $10 million guaranteed. I think your mom is trying to replace me. Yep.
What did my mom say? It's not breaking news, Beards.
Nope. Your mom wants to replace me with Chloe, and honestly, it's not the worst idea.
Why does she? I don't have the Facebook one open anymore.
It just says your little sister could replace Rudy. ...
Oh yeah, no, that would be great. I'm literally, at this point, literally anybody.
I mean, I feel like Beards is really the problem here, but if you want to replace your left guard instead of your left tackle, that's fine. Thought we had a whole hour about this, but okay.
So you
I
are...
also did just say Beards is more valuable.
You sure did. You're the Nick Allegretti of this show?
Let me think about this. Maybe I'm the Kelechi Assembly.
I would say...
Out here looking for toonies.
I would say that Beards is the offensive line of this show.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that feels right.
You know what? No, actually, I think Beards...
Would he be the offensive coordinator?
I think Beards is the defense.
Oh.
I think, but not just that he plays defense against the show.
Oh, see, that's
which he does do.
See, that's where I was going.
That's still true. Mm-hmm. But I think what Beards really does is like, whenever it's starting to slip away, he's like, it's got to be him that reels it back in. But also, very 2018 Chiefs. Occasionally, he's the reason it's all slipping away.
Yeah.
I don't know what that makes you though.
I think you'll like this one, Josh. I'm going to read a quote. Maybe one day, if the script's right, maybe it could be a film rather than the series. Who knows? Do you know who said this?
No.
This was Benedict Cumberbatch on the possibility of more Sherlock.
Oh, wow. What was the quote again?
Maybe one day, if the script is right, maybe it could be a film rather than the series. Who knows?
I mean, they're all literally the length of a
They're all basically films.
Yeah,
Josh,
they're films.
Beards, it's that's how they do TV shows sometimes in Britain.
Oh, I know.
It's different. This isn't America.
This
is America.
Listen,
that's not.
I watched season 4 of Luther. It was 2 episodes long.
Was it really?
Yes, it was. I still haven't gotten to 5 yet, though.
I heard it's a good show. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard it's a very good show.
It's
a show I've wanted to check out that I just never really. I just haven't gotten to.
There's a Netflix sort of Sherlock adaptation coming that I just saw the trailer for, I think yesterday.
Yeah, it looks very good.
It's called like The Irregulars or something to that end. That's very supernatural, and it's mostly John Watson and like these. It's got some New Mutants vibes.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Is that a good thing?
So you went to say the series, and you said and then Beards talked to my headset, in our headset. So I never heard what it's called.
What did I say? Did I say Irregulars? Okay, I think I nailed it. Yeah. It's called The Irregulars.
Yeah, I didn't hear that part, and I was just like...
It looks like a very supernatural, sort of like
Sherlock,
kids getting their power, like Sherlock spinoff. I don't know. I'm intrigued by it.
Netflix is kind of getting into the Sherlock game. They made that movie based off of
the Enola Holmes
sisters.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
With the girl who played 11.
And Henry Cavill was in it.
Yep.
What is her name?
I don't know.
Millie Bobby Brown.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow, go Beards.
I also here have
interception.
It's just like a good third down stop. We really needed a nice third down stop. Got the ball back.
If I hit this button again, I'm going to be Justin Houston in coverage.
You cut soon after? There's a tweet here from Stephen Ruiz of For the Win that I just wanted to read. It just says, my wife backloaded our marriage with avoidable years. And I just thought that was a good tweet.
Very good tweet.
It's just a really good tweet.
It's a good tweet. Ice Pyro says, breaking news. Josh is breaking down.
Since 2012. Yeah, really timely work there, Ice Pyro.
Take the show with you wherever you go. Listen live on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app and 810WHB.com.
Attention golfers, Casey's Best Value in Golf has a deal you won't want to miss. Join any Great Life Classic Golf Club today and golf for free all March long. As a Great Life Classic Golf member, you'll enjoy unlimited golf at all 6 Great Life Classic golf courses. Plus, members have priority access to book tee times, so you can golf where you want and when you want as a Great Life Classic member. Join Great Life today at GreatLifeKC.com and golf for free this March. That's GreatLifeKC.com.
Men, do you suffer from erectile dysfunction or Peyronie's disease? Has Viagra stopped working? Most ED cases are caused by plaque buildup, which causes blockages and restricts blood flow. Even Viagra can't get through. But thanks to the doctors at West Coast Men's Health, a revolutionary medical procedure is now available. Using acoustic wave therapy, this non-invasive, pain-free treatment breaks down plaque, restores blood flow, potentially reversing ED for good. And women, if your man has ED, talk to him about acoustic wave therapy and how West Coast Men's Health can help, regardless of age or medical history. Call 913-243-3200 to schedule an evaluation. Be one of the first 10 callers and qualify for the special $99 consult fee, normally $199. That's 913-243-3200 or online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
It's Family Leisure's Factory Direct Hot Tub Sale. We have hot tubs coming in every week. No need to wait for months. Come get your dream hot tub today. Family Leisure also has pools in stock for spring installation. Don't go another summer without a pool for your family. Come in and see our huge selection of patio furniture. Family Leisure is your one-stop shop for pool tables, shuffleboard, bar stools, and home theater seating. All priced to go. Mention 810 and save more at Family Leisure in Olathe.
913-888-7727. Awesome!
Warm weather is here. Spring has arrived. It's time to get that lawn back into shape. Do you want the best-looking lawn, but you don't want to have any harmful chemicals? Well, then go to GetSunday.com. That's right, GetSunday.com. You go there, you put in your home address, and their free lawn analysis tool takes care of the rest, all in just seconds. Sunday uses soil and climate data to create a tailored nutrient plan, so you get all the stuff your lawn needs and nothing it doesn't. Sunday is made with ingredients that you can actually pronounce, like seaweed, iron, and molasses, so you can grow better and feel better about it. Sunday explains exactly what you need, and everything is waiting right at your door exactly when you need it. All I had to do was attach the ready-to-use pouch to a garden hose and spray. It's just that easy. Let Sunday take the guesswork out of growing a greener, more beautiful lawn this spring. Visit GetSunday.com/Petro to get $20 off your custom lawn plan at checkout. That's $20 off your custom plan at GetSunday.com/Petro. GetSunday.com/Petro.
Aristocrat Motors Mercedes-Benz certified pre-owned vehicles, arduous inspections, impeccable history. From Kansas City's leading luxury automotive dealer. In March, you'll not only receive the unlimited confidence warranty that is a Mercedes-Benz exclusive, you can also receive 0% financing and a first payment credit up to $799. Aristocrat Motors, I-35 and Shawnee Mission Parkway, or online at aristocratmotors.com.
0% with approved credit for 36 months and payment credit on select models ends March 31, 21.
What you doing? Designing my new 2021 Nissan Kicks online in the Kicks Color Studio. I give each a special name. This one's electric blue, orange, red, white. I call it the gumball machine. You think it's me?
I feel like you're more of a red velvet guy.
Limitless possibilities. With over 100 million available color combinations and Bose Personal Plus system in the boldly new 2021 Nissan Kicks. Bose is a registered trademark of the Bose Corporation. Color combinations include interior and exterior colors. Customization is an available feature subject to availability at participating Nissan dealers. See dealer for details.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
And Rudy, as Rudy will tell you, Rudy is nothing without his eyebrows.
Nothing. Just a weird-looking man.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
It's a pretty good visual on Twitch right now of me basically talking into two microphones. It's because we have a button that's basically broken. But I'm going to move this, Beards, because I remember the sort of like, calling them publicity photos would be generous, but the pictures that we took to try to like promote AES on ESPN Kansas City, at one point I pointed all the microphones towards me.
Yeah.
And it was pretty good. It's a pretty good bit, but it was funnier even kind of by accident just now on the screen as I was looking at it. You're coming back there.
Yeah, I remember this.
Because it just looks ridiculous. Like, how much exposure do I really need?
There's a third microphone.
I think getting it around the plexiglass and kind of threading the needle would be an ordeal.
It'd be a little bit of a challenge. Not that you couldn't get it done, but Ice Pyro says on Twitch, I'm paraphrasing, I'm adding a little bit here. You have, I added that, Thuney microphones. That's not from me, it's from Ice Pyro.
You pronounced it wrong.
I did. I corrected myself right away, but yeah, you're right, I did.
The Patriots have signed everybody, by the way. They
Haven't
signed
signed me yet.
Matthew Judon, which is probably the biggest name from the group, I think.
Which after looking at sad Ravens fans on Reddit last year, that means nothing. They will hate him.
Oh, really? Interesting.
That's what Ravens fans
It's your
did.
one sample size of the Ravens. Interesting. Yep. And they also signed both Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Aguilar. The Nelson Aguilar deal, well, I had it open and now it's gone.
It was
a lot of money.
2 years for 26, or was it
2
3
years
for? I believe it was 2 for 26.
I think that's right. A significant little chunk of change there for Nelson Aguilar.
And then I think Kendrick Bourne got 3 years, if I remember right.
The Patriots have done something very
He's been all the
bizarre.
money.
Yeah, they've done something bizarre for themselves, which is to spend tons of money on players that I think we're mostly pretty lukewarm on.
Yeah, we obviously don't have a ton of time here. This is clearly a Bill Belichick does not want to have another year like last year. And so we have to do everything we can to make this team good. Because also, I don't know how much faith they really have in Cam Newton as their quarterback.
Also, maybe the most impactful signing in the division, the Raiders signed Yannick Ngakoue, which will be interesting. Whenever I'm the one blocking him at left tackle next year, I feel like that could be a really big matchup disadvantage in favor of the Raiders against the Chiefs. It's just going to be me and Lucas Niang out there.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes will be fine.
I don't know, man. I think that might create too many problems. No, that's the worst one yet.
You are listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Dell's semi-annual sale is the perfect opportunity for a significant business upgrade. Save up to 45% on Dell computers built for business and powered by Intel Core processors. Plus, enjoy special pricing on Dell docks, monitors, servers, and more. All with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today to find the right tech for your business with fast, free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. Again, that's 877-ASK-DELL.
Do you follow Sports Radio 810 on social media? This is your reminder to give us a follow and hit that subscribe button on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram at Sports Radio 810. Follow along for breaking news as it happens, live coverage of press conferences, analysis and reporting from top local and national experts, fan videos, and on-the-ground coverage of your favorite local teams, as well as the best sporting events and athletes in the country. Turn on your notifications so that you never miss a beat, and follow the leader at Sports Radio 810.
All month long, Hog Wild for Hoops is back at Zarda Barbecue. Dine in, drive through, or carry out our Hog Wild sandwich. Thinly sliced ham, fresh pulled pork, melted provolone, and 2 strips of bacon on a toasted Roma bun for just $7.99. And we'll throw in a side of Zarda's award-winning burnt-in beans for free. Come to Zarda Barbecue today for our Hog Wild sandwich, available for a limited time with a side of burnt-in beans for only $7.99. Zarda Barbecue. Come get some.
Jason Anderson here. I don't have to tell you that shopping for a home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make. At First Mortgage Direct, they serve you in the most honest and transparent way. Whether you're buying your first home or refinancing to get cash out, they'll unleash the power of the right mortgage by helping you secure an outstanding mortgage rate. Helping you buy a home with an affordable purchase mortgage is their top priority, factoring in loan amount and credit profile, as well as down payment details to provide a mortgage solution just for you. Finding the best mortgage starts with your lender. So get started with First Mortgage Direct as you take one step closer to home ownership. 855-222-5102 is the number. If you're ready to take the first step in your home buying experience, you can go to fmdloans.com today or call 855-222-5102. Again, that's 855-222-5102. First Mortgage Direct, the first step to a better future.
First Mortgage Solutions, LLC, DBA First Mortgage Direct, NMLS ID number 244476.
Paint? No, Paramount isn't just paint. It's the #1 paint in overall interior hide and stain resistance, providing the most advanced protection in just one coat. And now you can get that same outstanding protection with our new Paramount One Coat White. This first-of-its-kind one-coat ready mix white provides a beautiful white finish. You'll find Paramount paint exclusively at Menards. In third-party tests, interior paint claims versus super premium home center brands in eggshell sheen.
Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Savings or mail-in rebate. See store for details.
Choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I'm attorney Mike DePasquale. I played linebacker. I won a state championship. I played Division I ball. I know a thing or two about winning. A winning attitude starts with confidence. My law firm is so confident in what we do that if we take your injury case and we don't win, you don't pay us a dime. So if you've been hurt, call me. My team wants to win for you. I've got this.
Mike's got this. All you need to know. 816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
How does your website get noticed among the 1.7 billion on the internet? At DigiLagoon, we've been making companies stand out since 1995. This past year, more people have used the web than ever before to find exactly what they wanted. When was your site's last facelift? Is it mobile friendly? Does it have an SEO strategy? Is your social media presence designed to drive traffic to your site? DigiLagoon is the answer to all these questions and all your creative and marketing needs. Check us out at lagoon.com. That's lagoon.com.
Kansas City's favorite sports station, 20 years and counting. Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Jim Basquil. Let's tip it off with the NBA. It's a game on ESPN. Brooklyn Nets late third quarter of 96-82 on the New York Knicks. 25 thus far for Kyrie Irving. The Sacramento Kings lose twice on this night. First on the floor, 122-116 setback to the Hornets. Marvin Bagley suffers a fractured left hand in that defeat. Giannis, a triple-double of 31 points, 15 rebounds, and 10 assists. The Bucks outgunned the Wizards 133-122. The Patriots handing out almost $200 million in the first day splurge in NFL free agency, adding 7 players, 3 on offense, 4 on defense. Matthew Judon, Jonnu Smith among the adds. They were a 7-9 team last season, had to spend this offseason and did early. Louis Riddick on Bill Belichick.
He knows what the weaknesses were of his football team last year all fall. He was as frustrated as I had ever seen him, and he had now the assets to go ahead and go out and get the people that he needed.
A few other deals of note. Jameis Winston back to the Saints. The quarterback agrees to a 1-year, $12 million deal reported by Adam Schefter. Bud Dupree from the Steelers to the Titans, multi-year deal that averages $16 million a season. 3 years and $45 million for defensive end Carl Lawson to the New York Jets, who also add wide receiver Corey Davis. Keep up with the latest on ESPN.com. From the NHL, Jakub Voracek, the game winner. Flyers take the Rangers in OT 5-4. Caps blank the Sabres 6-0. 6 different goal scorers, including Alex Ovechkin with his 11th. And the Pens win their 6th straight 4-1 past the Bruins.
Hey, it's Greeny, and on Tuesday, in honor of Drew Brees, the Green List will be the top 5 NFL players never to win MVP. Is Brees number 1? You'll find out. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN+.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
For 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 45 minutes, talked eloquently about the Chiefs winning the AFC Championship for the first time in 50 years, and then for 4 minutes talked about the Space Force,
which was founded September 1st, 1982.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
We'll shift gears a little bit here because we've talked very, very much at this point about Joe Thuney. We've made many puns. We have played lots of breaking news noises. We have caused great chaos and distraction over the course of the last couple hours, and we will talk a little bit more about Joe Thuney in this segment as well. The big news of the day, if you've missed it, the Chiefs signed Joe Thuney, making him the highest paid guard in the NFL, a 5-year, $80 million deal. Although our next guest knows as well as anybody, this deal will not be 5 years, $80 million. We got a little more in terms of the details there, but we'll circle back around to the offensive line. The main thing that we're going to talk about here is the guy who that offensive line is going to continue protecting, and also what it is that makes his contract so unique. Connor Christopherson of Arrowhead Report joins us now. You can follow him on Twitter at Connor_DKC. And I also just realized this, Connor. I've never asked you this. I've never really thought about it. What does the D stand for in the second half of your Twitter handle?
CDC is my initial. So I kind of combined KC and my initial to make my Twitter handle.
What is your middle name? What does D stand for?
Oh, you're really going to ask me my middle name?
I really am. We do a lot of middle name talk on this show, weirdly.
Oh, okay. It's a Daniel. So
solid middle
name.
Throw
that on the tabloid.
Yeah, no, it's a solid middle name. Yeah. I will say that of all of the crew at Arrowhead Report, maybe all of the crew anywhere near Chiefs analysis and everything, Connor Christopherson, it's a powerful name. Like, I care what you're about to say, even if your content sucks, because there is so much authority behind. Like, I would vote for you for president. I would just check the box by Connor Christopherson. Like, that is power right there.
Well, you'll be happy to know I'm running in 4 years. So
yeah, that'll be.
Throw me as an independent on there.
Yeah, I guess. At this point, I'm basically running your campaign, I suppose. Well, so I do want to get into the story that you wrote. You've written a lot, by the way. If people want to see everything that Connor's written over the last week, he's been a machine over the course of kind of getting up to free agency. A lot of these guys now have obviously signed, but he had a whole series, something every day, looking at different position groups that are relevant to the Chiefs in terms of all of the free agents that were coming to pass here. You may look at some of them and say, ooh, that guy's still available. You may look at some of them and go, oh, that was too much money for the guy that the Jets just signed, or whoever it may be. But the story that I want to talk to you about here, Connor, is the one that went up about Patrick Mahomes' contract, and specifically the structure of it. I will absolutely toot the collective horn of Arrowhead Report on this one. I have not seen a breakdown of this contract in this way anywhere else. This is a truly excellent piece that you've put together here. Can you explain in whatever terms you find most interesting what it was that people need to have a working understanding of within these guaranteed mechanisms, within the way that Mahomes' contract can be automatically restructured, and what the impact for the Chiefs is going to be as they use all the flexibility that you've unearthed over the course of this story?
Yeah, I think the easiest way I can explain it is there's two unique aspects to this deal. It's the length and the fact that the Chiefs can kind of mold it how they want to. So the length really lets them, whenever a team does restructure, it's spread out over 5 years. But because the Chiefs are kind of going to do a rolling restructure, so every year they'll do a little, it kind of like spreads out over that whole deal. But what it does do is it makes the cap hits in the earlier years lower when they do this. So I looked at this because the Chiefs restructured the whole deal this year. I'm like, why did they do that? It doesn't make any sense. So I went in and did that every year for the next 7 years or so, and I found that the Mahomes' cap hits, if you do this, become really low, below his market value by a lot. So he'll be below Dak and Watson at least over the next few years, and then when Josh Allen resigns, he'll be below him. And they can only do that because of the length they put on Mahomes' deal and the fact that the Chiefs were going to basically commit to Mahomes for 12 years.
The breakdown that you have with all the math in bold, people can go read this. It's at arrowheadreport.com right now. It's the top story. You can just click over to Arrowhead Report. It'll be the first thing you see. What this ends up making for the front end of Mahomes' deal, because here's the thing also that I want to clarify for everybody else. Every time we talk about restructuring, we talk about moving money down the line, kicking the can, which is in some ways true, right? Like, I mean, we're talking about teams that have to carry that cap hit later on. But because of the length of Mahomes' contract, they can restructure so many times for so long that can just keeps rolling. And by the time the bill really comes due, the salary cap might be $1 billion. Like, it's just going to explode with the TV deals and everything. So here's the result of Connor's math is 7 years, $150 million for an average annual value of $21.4 million. That is the front end of the deal if the Chiefs do restructure. Derrick Carr, back before the 2017 season, signed a 5-year, $125 million extension, which is averaging $25 million per year. We're talking about Mahomes making less money than Derrick Carr's most recent extension that's now coming due, once again, because of how much it's been restructured down. I won't make you read a whole bunch of numbers, because as much as I've tried to read numbers interestingly on the radio, I fail more often than not to make it actually listenable. But we're talking about salary cap hits of $7-ish million this year, $13 million the year after, then 24, 28, 34, 37. Even as those numbers spike down the road, they are significantly lower than what it was scheduled to be before, all the way up until 2028. 2028 is the first year that future cap hit will be above the current cap hit for the Chiefs. Have you ever seen anything anywhere like that at all, anywhere else in NFL history?
No, not really. And I think I wrote about this in the article, but it was kind of because Mahomes and the Chiefs are a perfect marriage. The Chiefs know they want to commit to him for 15 years. And Mahomes was fine giving the Chiefs this flexibility because when you restructure the money, he actually gets paid that money in that year. So he doesn't care what their cap hit is as long as he's paid the money. And the Chiefs were like, okay, let's think of an interesting way or a unique way to structure this. So that's why they kind of did it this way. I think it's a brilliant contract. Yeah. It made a ton of sense to do it. And even in those future years, Josh, let's say they meet back up with Mahomes and they write a new deal that adds 3 more years to the end, and they turn that big money year into a signing bonus. Well, now it's spread out again. So because they kind of know they're going to be with Mahomes for the next 15 years, they can do all this.
There's even the Tom Brady deal that just happened with the Buccaneers that I think spreads out over 4 years. And to be honest, the whole idea of these void years was something I think I may have heard about for the first time last offseason. That wasn't something that I had like any real awareness of. Restructuring, I understood, but the idea of these voidable years in the future to just sort of spread out cap hits. I mean, tell me if this is reasonable, but my read of this is that if the Chiefs get to that point towards the end of Mahomes' career, and think about how far in the future we're talking about here, everybody. We're talking about the end of Patrick Mahomes' the last 5 years of his career.
So like 2-3 years ago.
Beards, Rudy, get that back. That made me so mad I called you Beards. That's how angry that made me. At the end of Mahomes' career, they could still be stretching out that money, and you'll have to carry some of that deep into the future. But what's a $10 million dead cap hit in 2037 if they are able to win 5 or 6 Super Bowls on the path there? Do you expect that to be sort of the end result eventually as they enjoy all this flexibility for the next 6 or 7 years minimum and likely even beyond that?
Yeah, I think this is mainly Clark Hunt saying, we found our quarterback finally. I want to go all in on his time here.
Yeah.
Because he has to approve all these payments that Mahomes is getting, of course, because they're pretty big. They're like $30 million a year. And Clark Hunt is actually paying that to Mahomes. So I think this is Clark Hunt, Brett Veach, and Mahomes coming together. They're going like, hey, you're our future. So why don't we just maximize what we can do with you? Who cares if there's like a $30 million cap hit after you retire? Yeah. Like, does anybody really care if that's there as long as they maximize Mahomes' career? I don't care, personally.
Yeah. No, I don't. I think that's exactly right. And again, if they're able to stretch that at all, that's a bridge we can cross eventually. The thing about this, though, right, that I think most people are still maybe not, if they haven't read the story yet, might still not be fully understanding, is that this is not an issue of eating some extra money in a couple of years for the sake of flexibility to sign Joe Thuney today. This is going to be, the math is done through 2028. Like, the math is right there if they choose to continue rolling that way. So I mean, I know based on reading your story and editing your story and talking to you about it already, like there is not a fear in your mind that the Chiefs are going to end up dealing with some unforeseen consequence here, which is unbelievable.
Right. And I mean, like the one I provided in the article was an aggressive one where they did the full roster bonus. Mm-hmm. Even a balanced one, you're seeing cap hits like at $30 million in 2024. It's still, like, not bad. He's going to be paid under market value for quarterbacks. And imagine the quarterback contract when the salary cap explodes. Like, you're going to get Josh Allen paid $45-50 million a year. So it doesn't really matter that Mahomes is making $30 million in those years. He's going to be paid under his value for a while still.
So what is the practical impact of this? I mean, what do you anticipate them being able to do in these years to come, knowing that they have this sort of flexibility?
You know what, Josh? I ran the math on it, and I think they can get Trent Williams this year.
I love it! Let's go!
It will fit in. It's pretty aggressive for sure, and like in 1 year he might make $30 million or so. But they could definitely fit it in, especially with like cuts to Frank Clark maybe next year or Anthony Hitchens, stuff like that. So they could fit that in. They could be more aggressive like that. They can be aggressive with contracts like they were during Mahomes' rookie deal, like Sammy Watkins.
Yeah.
But it depends on who they sign, of course. I don't know if they're going to sign Trent Williams with that, but I'm personally hoping for that one.
I mean, and also, I know you had also tweeted about this a little bit today with Thuney. Like, this deal, since he's carrying a $4.5 million cap hit in this first year, we're going to see, I imagine, whoever else they bring in this year. I'd be really surprised to see, a 2 or 3 year deal from somebody, even if it is someone like Trent Williams, and see it like, front loaded and take up the rest of the 2021 budget. I imagine they're going to keep backloading things within the specifics of this year, even beyond Trent Williams. There is, for me at least, there is even less. I already had relatively low amounts of this. There's even less sort of like future implication anxiety about backloading things or restructuring things, or perhaps restructuring and extending and backloading Tyrann Mathieu's extension that I expect to show up at some point, because you don't have to work around this sort of massive cap punishment that I think a lot of us were assuming would be 1 or 2 years around the corner for Patrick Mahomes, as opposed to 8, 9, or 10 years around the corner.
Right. So it's like any deal you see the Chiefs sign right now, Mahomes' contract hit during the end of that deal will be still low.
Yeah.
So you can basically just enjoy every signing now and not go, oh God, in the future we're gonna be screwed. Which I think is great, because that kind of just shows why the contract is so brilliant by Brett Veach and Brant Tillis, their cap guy. So I think that really gives the Chiefs, kind of like I said this in the article at the end of it, this gives them like a Tom Brady type advantage, where he took high, like top 10 quarterback money, but he should have been paid number 1 quarterback money for 15 years.
Right.
But he wasn't. So that kind of just gives the Chiefs the same advantage. Patrick Mahomes will be paid top 10 quarterback money, but as the best quarterback in the league, he's not going to be paid that. So I think that gives him the same advantage, which will let him sign better free agents every year for a few years now. It'll maybe let him splash more, like Trent Williams and Joe Thuney. It'll basically give him that flexibility.
Here's one other thing that I just am looking at this chart again now and seeing new things now. 2023 was supposed to be a $42 million-ish, about $42.5 million cap hit for Mahomes. That was the expected salary cap hit in 2023, okay? So if they follow your path, again, this is the most aggressive version of this, but if they do the most aggressive version of this every year, instead of crossing the $40 million barrier for the first time in 2023, they would cross that line for the first time in 2027. That's unbelievable. That's by
4 years later.
4 years. That's your presidential term. You're gonna have been in and out of office at that point. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny because when I was like, okay, I want to do this. I didn't actually do it last year. I should have, obviously, but I was like, okay, so they restructured the whole thing. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
because it's gonna be $35 million next year if they do that. I wonder if we just did it every year, because I knew his roster bonuses were high. And when I actually saw that, I tweeted out, I'm like, I'm actually laughing at how ridiculous this is, that they were able to figure this out and do this. So I want to say hats off to Brett Veach and, again, Brant Tillis for thinking this up even, because it's kind of crazy. And Mahomes for giving him a 12-year deal. He could have made much more money than this.
Yeah.
He could have done the 4-year deal route that Watson's doing, that Russell Wilson did. But he said he was fine. It's funny because I'm thinking he was fine with $500 million.
Right.
Technically, it's $474 million because those incentives are like win the MVP and win the Super Bowl.
Right.
But he was fine with that money just to give the Chiefs flexibility, because locking himself into these numbers, he doesn't have as much bargaining power down the road. He'll still have some, of course, when it gets later. But they give him the ultimate flexibility, and I think that was just Clark Hunt and Patrick Mahomes coming together, talking it out, and going like, yeah, we want to be married together.
Yeah, and you've mentioned Clark Hunt several times, and it comes up several times in the story. I think your credit is well placed there for the record. But I was thinking again about the press conferences that came after the deal was announced. I remember Clark Hunt talking about this himself, and then also Brett Veach talking about Clark Hunt being involved, like genuinely being involved in the process, where I think on some level Clark Hunt kind of enjoyed the process of figuring out all the details and stuff. That was sort of the vibe that I got. I mean, and you're right, it's just, it took such a unique situation where both sides had, a place where they could meet in terms of total money, number of years, which is Deshaun Watson's never going to sign more than a 5-year deal anywhere. Like, he has been hurt before. Like, He's never doing that again. Everything the Chiefs did up until that point, and the trust that the organization has in Mahomes and that Mahomes has in the organization, I was going to say it's impossible to put a price tag on that. That might not be true. It might be about $500 million, and then also these tens of millions of dollars of flexibility every year. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's definitely unbelievable. I loved it when I found it. It's great, and it just makes you feel you just know something that other people don't.
Right.
Like even right now, and over the cap, next year's cap is $35 million. They go, oh, Chiefs are going to pay for it next year. And then you go, no, they're not.
They're really
You're
not.
Be surprised again.
It's going to be, I think the funniest is going to be in about 2025, where eventually people give up hope of the Chiefs ever actually being punished for any of this.
Those people will still exist. People are going to be like, next year's the year. They're finally going to get punished.
I just think the 2024, 2025 window is when I personally am going to have the most fun with it, because we'll still, years in the future, just be able to copy and paste the link to the story, and it'll infuriate people for the rest of time. And I love that. So again, if you want to check it out, go to arrowheadreport.com. It's the first story up on the main page. It's absolutely outrageous. You can also go through Connor's Twitter account. And if you like any of this at all, follow Connor on Twitter at Connor_DKC. I do want to ask you about the Thuney deal a little bit, Connor. We had that break today. The structure, again, we've gotten all the information on now that it's $4.5 million in the cap hit at the front end. It's essentially $48 million guaranteed at signing over the first 3 years, the injury guarantee. I don't know if there's anything that you find interesting about the injury guarantee element of it. I don't know if there's something extra there, but essentially 3 years, $48 million guaranteed, with the $4.5 million cap hit in year one, a $17 million signing bonus. What did you make of the structure of that deal, and is that something maybe keeping your hopes up for another big signing still to come this year?
Oh, I think to the second point, for sure, because the Chiefs have $33 million in salary cap space heading into that signing, and now they have 28.5, which is plenty for another big name. And the weird thing was they did the full Chris Jones restructure today. I found that a bit odd, because they didn't have to do that. They could have done $10 million for Travis and then like $9 or so million for Chris Jones, and they would have plenty of money for Thuney. But they didn't. They did the full Chris Jones one, which is why I'm leaning towards them. They really want to get Trent Williams. I think that's why it's there, because then you could hit like a $17 million cap hit this year on Trent Williams, or a 13, or somewhere in that range, because you really need to have a bigger year one cap hit than like $4.5 million to even sign him to a $370 deal. That was the main thing I saw from Thuney's deal. Other than that, it's kind of a standard Brett Veach one where it's minimum base salary for a veteran, year one with just a signing bonus tacked on, and then they can get out year three, after year three, so year four, which is kind of the MO of all of Brett Veach's contracts he's done. And it's a standard-ish contract for a team that wants to spend less in year one.
Yeah. And obviously, assuming that the cap does have these huge jumps down the road with new TV deals and everything, it seems like that makes a lot of sense.
Money.
Gambling money. I forgot. I forget about the gambling money. There's going to be some crazy math coming.
Yeah.
Last thing on that then, Connor, I mentioned your week of free agency content that we had running up on the site, and your offensive line article, I was prepared to quote for the Chiefs signing Trent Williams. I was maybe preparing to quote it for Lindsey if they ended up going to the center, and they ended up going to Thuney at the guard spot. Of your three sort of blue chip offensive linemen, Thuney was the one I was least anticipating to end up in Kansas City, mostly just by positional value, how I value guards. What did you make of that particular class of blue chippers? Trent Williams, again, still pending, but what did you make of the choice to have Thuney be the guy first off the market as the Chiefs? I don't know if he was the first guy on the Chiefs board or if it was just the money worked out first, but I'm curious how you felt about how that unfolded for really for all three of those guys, again, with Williams pending.
Yeah, I think they definitely targeted Thuney. I think Lindsley went for less than I thought he was going to. Actually, I thought he was going to hit like 13, 14 million a year, and he hit like 12.4-ish. So I think they wanted to go for Thuney first. And I think the positional flexibility offers is something they were interested in. And I was fine with any of the blue chippers they were going to get. Honestly, I felt like they kind of had to make a play for one of them, just because they had no proven veterans on the offensive line. So I thought it would be Trent Williams or Lindsley, but it was Thuney. I'm okay with that, and I think they can even get two of them. So that would definitely be – the NFL would definitely take notice of that for sure.
I got to say, I'll back you up. I would not be mad if that unfolded that way, and I imagine Patrick Mahomes wouldn't be mad either. Connor, thank you very much for making the time tonight. Also, you can hear you're on the tomorrow morning's Roughing the Kicker with Tucker, yes?
Yep, I am.
Excellent. You want to get more from Connor, more on Thuney, I have to imagine, more with our own Tucker D. Franklin, Emperor of Power Rankings, Little Chiefs boy, host of Roughing the Kicker. You can check out the Roughing the Kicker Chiefs podcast with both of them coming out tomorrow morning. Thank you, Connor, and good luck on your presidential campaign.
Thanks, Josh. I'll be announcing it here shortly.
I will have some bad news. I think he announced it already, being on a radio show.
I tweeted it now from the 10 account.
810 getting into political endorsements. That's a big move
hey,
for us.
We're not endorsing it. Just we're reporting the news.
Great
We're
point.
just reporting news.
That's a great point. Yeah. You should absolutely go be following Connor on Twitter. Again, it's at Connor_DKC. If you're interested in any of the math, any of the salary stuff, any of the way that you, and again, he did some really, really, really good work going through basically the entire damn free agency class leading up to today, essentially. A lot of that work still relevant even today, but all of the money stuff, Connor absolutely thrives there, as you saw with the piece on Mahomes.
And during that, so I was going to say some free agency numbers, but now AP top 25 breaking Minnesota Fire's men's basketball coach Richard Pitino. One Pitino goes to the tournament,
really?
One Pitino dies.
Wow.
That's the circle of life, It's one Pitino thrives, one Pitino dies. So the budget...
I got more breaking news.
Oh.
Kevin Pierre-Louis is signing a 2-year deal worth up to $8 million with the Houston Texans, per source. I saw that retweeted by Connor_DKC on Twitter.
When I first saw the name, I was thinking to myself, he was a Chief.
He sure
right?
was.
I was like, yeah.
He sure was.
It was a weird one where there was like a little bit of, he in his specific role, was like a little bit of Sorensen. When you put him in the right role, he played pretty good.
Yep.
And then I thought he was going to be a Chief for maybe a little longer than just like the 1 year he was a Chief. And then the Chiefs let him go, and then he seemed to get better.
Yeah.
It was like, huh.
All true. He's also a good coverage backer.
Yeah,
he's a guy that Connor really liked.
That's the thing. He could cover. Some numbers, though, like during that segment came out, Bud Dupree got 5 years, $82.5 million, which is a lot. The Yannick Ngakoue got a 2-year, $26 million deal, all guaranteed. And then Trey Hendrickson signed 4 years, $60 million with the Bengals. So the Bengals let Carl Lawson walk to sign Trey Hendrickson.
Go check out Connor's article at Arrowhead Report. Go do that. The link's all over the place. I'm going to tweet it out again with one of the snippets we mentioned there. You can see that on my Twitter account as well. Go follow Connor. Go follow Connor on Twitter at Connor_DKC. We'll talk probably more about a lot of these things. Also, we've got some March Madness bracketology to figure out on our own side. I've talked a lot about this big old nasty bracket right here. We did a 4-hour show yesterday.
Me and Josh's bracket couldn't be any more different.
It is stunning, and we'll explain why Rudy and I are going to have to fight over our brackets next.
Want more Almost Entirely Sports? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page.
Another season of frigid temperatures is finally behind us. But with the good comes some bad, because another winter in the books means another year of wear and tear on your roof. Greg Gurley here. Wouldn't it be nice to sleep well knowing you can trust the roof over your head? You can with the company I trust, Buck Roofing. Buck Roofing has fixed the roof over my mom's head and thousands of KC homeowners and commercial buildings. Jayhawks, Wildcats, and Tigers all agree that Buck Roofing is simply the best in Kansas City. Ron and his team are experts in residential, commercial roofing, and they can do your gutters too. Don't just take my word for it. Check their rating with Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. Buck Roofing will do only the work that needs to be done, and you can trust that you are getting a fair bid. Put this number in your phone now, 913-384-2680. That's 913-384-2680, or online at ourbuckroofing.com. And sleep well knowing Buck Roofing fixed the roof over your head.
The weather has changed, and next thing you know, you'll need to switch your furnace to AC. There is no better time than now to get a new AC. And this month only, you can get a new furnace for free to go with it. That's right. Buy a new AC and get a new furnace for free. Call the folks at Anthony and get ready for spring and summer while saving a lot of cash. That's Anthony, the technicians KC has trusted for 70 years. Get more information at AnthonyPHCE.com.
Hey everyone, Les Norman here, host of the Breaking the Norm show. Since '95, I've made KC my home, and since then, I've seen a World Series champion in 15, a Super Bowl champion in 20, and the greatest fans supporting both. It's the people that make me proud to call KC home. You're passionate about your teams and each other. During this crazy time, keep caring for and loving each other. And thank you for making KC not only the greatest sports city, but also the most caring and helpful place to watch sports. Stay healthy, be safe, don't panic, and keep loving each other well.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Your home for March Madness. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
3-ball, count it. Butler right corner to T. 3, yes.
Marcus Garrett looking to drive, gets to the cup, right hand runner goes.
Frazier with a 3, and he stuck it from way out top.
Rebound loose, Brooks saves it, finds Dickinson for a 2-hand stop.
The road to the Final Four starts here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hey, Kansas City, spring training isn't just for baseball players. You can lose those pandemic pounds and get into shape before the warmer weather hits, since it only takes 40 days to lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40-plus pounds with NJ Diet. NJ Diet's program starts with bioenergetically personalized supplements based on your hair, saliva, and blood work. Then, NJ Diet uses DNA testing to create your ideal diet and workout regimen to help you keep it off. Don't want to do it alone? NJ Diet is with you every step of the way. You'll be fully monitored by their certified staff to make sure you're burning fat and not just losing water. You'll also get the doctor's personal email and phone number. NJ Diet offers live online video consultations, and they have a location right off 435, off the corner of College and Metcalf. Call 855-5NJ-DIET. That's 855-5NJ-DIET. Or go to njdiet.com and lose the weight for good. That's njdiet.com.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
Did you just finish a bottle of Coke and then throw it in the trash can?
Yep.
You can recycle it like 2 rooms away, leave it sitting out, and then take it in after the show. That's what I do.
But I slam dunked it.
We'll unslam dunk it and then go slam dunk it in a recycling bin.
That's goaltending. You can't do that.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
I just tweeted this out along with the link to Connor's story. But I said this. I found this out live reading the story for like the 5th time. It is bat bleep bonkers. I almost said bleep bleep. I got it right, but bat bleep.
It is bleep bleep bat bleep.
I almost said I almost
Bonkers.
bleeped the word bat and then didn't bleep the second word. Was the little twitch that happened in my head just then? Yeah, calling it bleep s bonkers would have been bad.
We'd lose that family-friendly tag on Twitch. We are nothing if not a family-friendly show.
Then we are nothing.
Earlier
we read a story
friendliest of
about
families.
Dick Deerkiller, whatever his name was.
This is a person. We were spreading history to the kids. If you
Sorry,
don't
time out,
know
Rudy,
history,
sorry.
you are doomed to repeat it.
Dick Deerslayer.
Don't know the history of this country and football world, you're doomed to repeat it. History, kids.
It is crazy that whenever we saw Patrick Mahomes' salary and the expectations for his salary cap, whenever he put pen to paper, that we expected him to hit $40 million in 2023, which is fine because he's Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
That's all right. But in reality, if they restructure the way that Connor has it set up here, the most aggressive version of the restructuring, he will not be owed $40 million in a single season until 2027.
2027?
I was going to make out there's no way I'm going to live joke by then, but I ruined it.
I wish Beards was the one making that joke.
There's no way none of us are alive come 2027. You kidding me? It's not even a real year.
And then the first year that has a cap hit where the restructured version is higher than the non-restructured version is in 2028. And as Connor said, they could do a new deal by then that moves some of that money down. And then maybe the last year of Patrick Mahomes' career, he's the only guy on the roster, or more likely, really, it's just he's got a $60 million cap hit that they're going to pay. They could pay 40 of that year and then pay $5 million the next 4 years after that, and just voided years of just stretching out the cap hit. And if you think that's crazy, the Chiefs paid Eric Berry $8 million last year.
That's still so wild to me. That it was last year. If you told me just off the top of my head,
is that right?
How long has it been? No, you're right. Because I believe there were 5 players over. Your stat was, I think it was 5 players over 30 with like a major, with a big cap hit, and Eric Berry was one of them.
It's last year.
If you had told me to guess how long it's been since Eric Berry played football, like just my initial, just off the top of my head, been like 5 to 7 years. Easy.
Yeah.
It's been. I was in college last time I saw Eric Berry play football.
He had an $8 million. The 2 years the Chiefs went to the Super Bowl in back-to-back years, he had a $16 million cap hit.
Tip of the cap to Eric Berry, man.
Tip of the salary cap.
Tip of the salary cap.
Tip of the salary cap, Thuney, Eric Berry.
To be fair, every time we try to stop, you also make one and just keeps it going.
Here's the thing: is that I think it's funny when I do it. I'm not saying it is funny when I do it, or that it's not funny when you guys do it. I'm just saying
it's not funny when Beards does it.
It's not funny when Beards does it, and it is funny when I do it. And you're a coin flip.
That's all I want. If I can just be a coin flip, I've succeeded in life.
Also, Eric Berry.
I'm going to hear that sound in my sleep tonight.
Eric Berry cash earnings on Spot Track?
$110 million.
Beard, you want to guess? I'm not going to tell you who you're talking about if you weren't listening. I'm not going to tell you.
I think I'm going to stick with 110.
$18.
93.8.
Oh, I thought about dropping to 100, and I've been closer.
So it wasn't $18.
No.
$93 million.
But you won Price is Right rule, so.
All that matters in life.
Yep.
How did he make $19 million in his second season? Restructure bonus.
Well, so remember, Eric Berry, I believe he was the last year of the crazy rookie deal where like rookies could sign, for like Sam Bradford got like $50 million guaranteed, and
his highest cap hit ever was his second year. That's completely bonkers.
Yeah, Eric. I sometimes just forget how crazy rookie deals were getting to where it was just like. Now the funny part is I still this just happens, right? Like part of the players union wanting there to be a rookie a pool was so that
wage scale,
so that the veterans would get more money. And the reality is the average veteran didn't get more money at all.
Yeah.
It just the stars got way more money, which is fine. It was just I just always find it funny whenever the plan is we're gonna do this, and then that never happens because obviously the money's just gonna go to the best players, right?
The fact that football is even salary capped at all is pretty silly. Where we're talking about moving money around for Patrick Mahomes, when if he would have just gotten the chance to sign a contract, he might have gotten a legitimate 15-year billion-dollar deal. Like that might not have been completely out of the realm of possibility. In an uncapped league,
for sure,
it's crazy. Anyway, I think that's the gist of it there. I think that you should go read that story from Connor. It's absolutely bleep crazy.
The bullet point is that Patrick Mahomes signed a contract that's going to make him a ton of money, but did it in a way knowing that he'll make a ton of money while also giving flexibility to continue to win championships, because part of him winning championships will help him make maybe twice this much off the field.
Well, and so that's fair.
Because that's one thing I saw somebody say on the Twitch chat, Brady took less money because his wife was making so much money, and maybe I don't know if that was going through Brady's head or not. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is going to get essentially $500 million from this contract, roughly. But also, Patrick Mahomes also knows that, hey, maybe I could have got more, but also I might legitimately make $1 billion off the field in endorsement deals when all said and done.
Yeah.
So I'll take maybe $20 million less, or I'll lose a little bit of leverage because at some point, is there a difference between $1.5 billion and $1.6 billion? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
The other element of that here, that maybe this is the one other thing that to highlight from Connor's story, is whenever we talked about the 10-year extension the first time as it was happening, the thought was he sacrificed some money just for the long-term security, and that's true. But it's also for the flexibility that if – sorry, I just saw that Charlie Castley's mock draft has the Chiefs taking a corner at 31. And
somebody clearly doesn't know.
I mean, it's absolute nonsense. Like, it's just nonsense.
I mean,
There's no chance.
Hey, I love it. But there's a better chance of them drafting another running back at 31 than a cornerback at this point.
That might be true.
I think it is true.
No, I'm sad.
Would they do that 2 years in a row?
I almost responded seriously, then it hit me what he said.
I'm now suffering from March Madness.
It's that time of the year.
I will say here, I don't have a bit.ly or whatever for you, but if you want to go to either my Twitter account and scroll a little bit, or I can go retweet it again, so it'll move it up my timeline, or you want to go to the Almost Entirely Sports Facebook page, facebook.com/entirelysports. I shared it there as well. We are doing an AES tournament challenge, in addition to the Sports Radio 810, which you can see at 810whb.com. I need to enter that one still, actually, because I have not finalized my picks necessarily, but as I got a lot of questions about doing an AES group again this year. I will retweet this link again now, and again, facebook.com/entirelysports. As I was building the group and everything, I went through and said, all right, I need to go ahead and fill out a bracket, so I at least have something in place. Go ahead.
So everybody knows that Gronk signed a 1-year deal worth $10 million today.
Yeah.
His career earnings will now reach $69 million.
That's a lot of money. Good for him.
He's clearly retiring after this. He will never play another.
Has to.
He will never
has
play.
To.
Either he will never play another down of football, or he will play for free. Just throwing that out there.
Why is the chat saying nice?
I don't know.
What did we do? What do we do that was nice?
I mean, that's a lot of money.
Gronk got $10 million.
Just that we
it's
opened.
more than $68 million.
It's less than 70 though.
That's why it's just nice.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah,
it's not
amazing.
Eric Berry money.
No.
Gronk is gonna make less money than Eric Berry by like $20 million.
Bud Dupree just signed for $85 million. Like, he obviously won't get all that.
See, that's a good number. That's why that other number is only nice. Sheesh. There you go.
Sheesh, indeed.
If you want to go sign up for the bracket challenge, though, for AES listeners and followers and whatnot, that is live right now. In addition, again, to the Sports Radio 810, you can join at 18wb.com.
Nice.
Here's the issue, though. Here's what Rudy... I filled mine out earlier today. When did you fill out yours, Rudy?
Like at 6:20 p.m.-ish.
We had not communicated about the bracket before
Whenever
then.
we started talking in here,
You just started
maybe
filling out.
5 minutes before that when I got done.
We had not talked about the brackets at all, and then at some point, Beards was filling out his. I'm not announcing this as my final four pick. But...
this is probably my final four pick.
You said, Rudy...
Yes.
You give me the seeds that you had in your final four.
So I have 2 1 seeds, a 2 seed, and a 4 seed. So 1, 1, 2, 4.
And then I remembered what my bracket was, so I asked Rudy, is your final four Gonzaga, Alabama?
Yes.
And then Baylor, Oklahoma State?
It is indeed.
Do you have Gonzaga and Baylor winning those games?
That I do.
With Gonzaga winning the national championship?
Undefeated season, baby.
We both had 2 1s, relatively predictable.
Yep.
A 2, predictable enough. And a 4, we both said, thank you very much, Cade Cunningham. I'll take you from the 4 line.
And our
all the way to the
reasoning
house.
was the exact same too, because
same.
Because if you have the best player, I tend to lean towards the team with the best player.
And I'm not gonna take 4 1 seeds. We got chalk once 3 or 4 years ago, I think, maybe longer ago now.
I think it's been a little longer, but it was
Was it the North Carolina and Villanova year?
I think KU was the one that year, weren't
it
they?
was KU lost to Villanova. I think it was the year KU. No, that was the Elite Eight when they lost.
I don't know. Here's the other thing. Doesn't
try to
matter.
find it out,
Don't
maybe.
care. Don't care. We'll take a break in a second. You can look during the break. I don't care. But we did not communicate about this at all. And we ended up with a pretty wonky Final Four that's exactly the same. So this simply cannot happen.
2008, Kansas, Memphis, North Carolina, UCLA. KU won the title.
Wow, it was 2008?
Yes.
I said 4 or 5 years ago. That was 13 years ago.
February, here's an article on the NCAA.com. February 2nd, 2021. One season, the Final Four and championship games. There's only been one Final Four in which all 4 top seeds from the field made it. 2008. There have been 5 instances of 3 number 1 seeds making it.
Wow.
So typically in the history of the NCAA tournament, it has been 2 or less.
That's outrageous. That is so much longer. I thought it was a KU year.
I think the NCAA is a good source, but to be honest, probably not a great source.
I think they're biased.
I don't really trust Mark Emmert that much, if I'm being honest.
So here's what we'll do in the tournament challenge. We'll have all of us in it.
Yep.
We're gonna do. I think. We're gonna have about 7 or 8 minutes next segment, probably, right?
Depends on when we break. I would say.
If we get out of here pretty soon.
Yeah.
What if we're gonna have to get the show's preeminent basketball expert, my little sister Chloe.
Yes.
Didn't get to do one last year, obviously. Gonna try to get her on the phone sometime later this week. But I feel like we have probably just enough time to do a bracket, not for Dick Justice, but with Dick Justice. We could probably both throw a bracket in 5 minutes, right? We're picking on behalf of the dog mascot.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Let's try to do that then. Let's take a break right now. Whenever we come back, we're gonna fill out a bracket for a fictional dog.
At JB Brisco. At Beards McFly, at Not That Rudy, at Sports Radio 810. Just do it already.
Hi, I'm Fred Ramsey. And I'm Mark Tobin. Hey, folks, if you're not busy Saturday mornings from 6 to 7 a.m., well, I hope you'll join us for the Midwest Outdoors, brought to you by Reed Chevrolet St. Joe.
Join us and our expert guests, and we'll be talking about hunting and fishing, dog training. We'll give you tips, pass along stories, and most important, share some laughs along the way.
That's right. We cover it all, from crappie to waterfowl. And we'll tell you how to cook it, too.
The Midwest Outdoors, brought to you by Reed Chevrolet, Saturday morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Whether you're looking for energy savings for the winter or updating your home office or man cave, One Stop Decorating is the place for beautiful, energy-efficient window coverings. One Stop Decorating offers free in-home or virtual consultations, or you can come into one of their 3 beautiful showrooms to see all the window coverings in their Hunter Douglas galleries. Ask about smart shades that can be controlled by Google, Alexa, and HomeKit. 913-270-0408, 913-270-0408, or onestopdecorating.com. Your home, your windows, your style.
Car enthusiasts, looking for the best place to store and show off your car? Check out the KC Underground, Kansas City's car collection. KC Underground is part of the Kansas City Automotive Museum and provides a safe place to store your vehicle with 24-hour monitoring while sharing its history. Call today to reserve a spot underground for your car. Use the promo code 810 and you'll receive a 10% discount. Go to thekcunderground.com or call 816-492-7147 and mention 810-WHB. If you can see the skyline, the KC Underground is just moments away.
Hey folks, this is Nate Bucati from my friend Gary Joslin and Joslin's Jewelry. Look, in this day and age, most jewelry stores won't give you the service or knowledge that you need. If you want to work with real Kansas Cityans and get a great diamond at a great price, trust me, go to Joslin's. They're all about making friends and having long-term relationships. That's why they do such a great business with their in-house repairs. If you take your ring into one of those big box jewelry stores because it needs a repair, be prepared to pay all kinds of markups and fees that you don't need. That's not what they do at Joslin's. At Joslin's, you get an honest quote, a fair price, and the repairs that you need. And they've got a great selection of diamonds. So give them a call today at 913-341-2021, or you can look them up online at joslinsjewelry.com. Joslin's Jewelry, the jeweler you'll recommend to your friends and family.
Joslin's Jewelry, for the best that's yet to come.
With its dedication to bringing wellness to Kansas City, CBD American Shaman is excited to announce the opening of Shaman's Leewood Total Wellness at 117th and Row in Camelot Court. Shaman's Leewood Total Wellness offers medical aesthetics and IV nutrient therapy, and there is a full-service CBD American Shaman store there too. Start your journey to wellness with Shaman's Leewood Total Wellness. Call 913-227-9150 or go to shamantotalwellness.com. Life is better with the feather.
Picture this: fresh air, your worries falling to the wayside, a cold cocktail as the sun warms you. Good conversation only occasionally slows down as you take a perfect bite of our famous $20 12-ounce Angus wood-fired grilled Kansas City strip and fries. It's patio season at Red Door, And it doesn't get much better than this. Make a reservation at one of Red Door's 5 Kansas City locations. We'll see you on the patio.
Every weekday on Sports Radio 810, tune in to hear Kansas City's favorite local lineup. At 6 a.m., wake up with the Border Patrol with Stephen St. John and Nate Bucati. At 10, it's The Zone with Jason Anderson. Now at 2, get into the program with Soren Petro. And wrap up your day on Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco. Kansas City's hometown sports station. Sports Radio 810 WHB. This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
And that's where I imagine most radio shows are starting their shows today. As Beards adjusts his Dick Justice dog plush.
That's good enough.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Couple things. One, try to help out Credible Hulk on Twitch. They need some good Wi-Fi names. Tucker D. Franklin has said My Wi-Fi. I would suggest that it's called My Wi-Fi, but then in parentheses it says Borat voice.
Yes.
So you hear it, and you know, I mean, you can't. It's just in text. But
yes.
Do you want to do the breaking news really quick, Rudy? I thought that's what you were going to bring up. There was another signing.
Oh no! I was going to say you could be the Gaucho, like UCSB Gaucho.
We're getting into the brackets now. Here, quick, Beards, hit the thingy. The Viking. Well, nope, I lost it. Vikings on defensive tackle. Thank you. All right, let's do this. Here's what we're doing right now to end out the show tonight. We're filling out the bracket for Dick Justice. He is the wiener dog mascot of this show. We have mini mascots. He was original with the aggravated kitten. Let's pick a bracket on behalf of Dick Justice. Gonzaga's advancing over the 16. They're the Bulldogs, baby. Here's the thing. Dick Justice is going to have a chance this year because the Bulldogs are looking pretty choice right now. Next question. Sooners or Tigers? Tiger's a big cat, but it is an animal.
But it's a cat.
But
dogs hate cats.
I think small cats.
Well, a Sooner is a dog. Their mascot, Oklahoma Sooners mascot's a dog.
Oh, is it really? I just think of the covered wagon.
Yeah, so they have a dog as their mascot.
I'm okay with that. I also feel like I've seen a video of a lion with a wiener dog. I Googled wiener dog and tiger. There's definitely a video of a lion with some wiener dogs just playing. But I'm okay with that. All right, good logic, Rudy. I have to go back to the bracket again. Let's follow this one to its logical conclusion. So Gonzaga, Oklahoma, it's a Bulldog. We're taking the Bulldogs again next round.
Yes.
Creighton versus UCSB. Gaucho, humanoid. But I feel like a wiener dog would like to chase a blue jay, though,
A Gaucho is a skilled horseman. I feel like a skilled horseman might have a dog.
Yeah. All right, that's fine. I just, Creighton having a blue jay there.
I mean, dogs chase blue jay? Well, my dad has a dog that chases
Bobcats or Cavaliers?
Cavaliers. That's easy. Cavaliers.
I'm thinking about furry four-legged animals.
But Cavaliers needed a good dog companion.
All right, Gauchos or Cavaliers? How about that?
I think a Gaucho.
I agree.
What is a Gaucho again?
It is a skilled horseman.
Yeah, the horseman specifically. But they're not getting past the Bulldog because it's a ding-dang dog. You got to take the dogs.
Right.
Yeah.
What about the Trojans versus, what is Drake? Are Drake the Bulldogs also?
Yeah, Drake are the Bulldogs.
And if it's the Shockers, it's fun. It's a big, scary mascot. I feel like a dog will like a big, scary mascot. Upset in the first round there. Jayhawks versus Eagles.
Wow.
Here's my argument for Kansas. Mythical creature.
That's what I was going to do.
Extra points.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
What about Wichita State / Drake versus Kansas, though?
I mean, it would be Drake, right?
It would be Drake.
But we don't know that Drake is going to be there.
I still think the shocker, the woo shock,
I think that's fair as well.
Some wheat.
Ducks versus the VC is the Rams, right?
Yes, they are the Rams.
I think a duck and a wiener dog would just be a match made in heaven.
I think that's a kid's movie.
I think you're right. What is Grand Canyon?
It's a giant natural formation.
Yeah.
I think they're a bird.
Iowa are the Hawkeyes. It's kind of an aggressive bird.
No, they're an antelope. Okay, I was close.
I would go with Grand Canyon.
I was not close.
All right, so Grand Canyon, but then the duck, and the wiener dog. It's too good.
Yes,
it's too good. Does the duck surpass Wichita State / Drake? Or do we continue with Woo-Shock versus dogs?
I think it's the duck because there's a superior bulldog already in that bracket.
Well, they will meet next round. If we go Woo-Shock / Bulldog against Bulldog, we know there's a superior definite Bulldog winner out of that region.
Yeah, I just think this Bulldog is a lesser Bulldog than maybe the duck surpasses, but maybe
Here's what's your vote.
I'm fine either way.
What's your vote? Woo-Shock / Shocker / Bulldogs versus Ducks.
Ducks. I go Ducks.
Wow, really?
I go Ducks. Yeah.
Okay, so Gonzaga, but then Gonzaga is a Bulldog over the Ducks. All right, very good. Wolverine feels, kind of spooky, but maybe dog-like.
A little dangerous, though, for a wiener dog.
Yeah,
Could be dangerous.
Here's the thing, guys. It's a 16-seed playing game. I don't know either of these teams or their mascots. It's again, a four-legged woodland creature. We're not going to have time to get through all this, are we?
They are Mount St. Mary's a Mountaineer.
I can edit the ending so that we'd be fine.
Mount
Let's
St.
push a
Mary
little
is
bit.
the Mountaineers. Texas Southern are Tigers.
St. Bonaventure, I think we figured out are the Bonnies.
Yeah,
Is
they're
that
the
a dog
Bonnies.
of some sort?
Bonnies.
Like a wolf. Their logo has a wolf.
Oh, excellent. Yes.
So it's a wolf. So it is a. They are the St. Bonaventure Bonnies.
Oh, their logo has a wolf.
Yeah, it's a dog type of. It's a dog of some sort.
It's a dog type Pokemon.
It's a dog type Pokemon.
So
It's a Yamper.
St. Bonaventure over Michigan, then, right?
Also, it's where Woj went to college.
Excellent. Georgetown Bulldogs, yeah?
Yeah.
Sorry, Buffalo would have been so fun.
It would have.
But it's a Bulldog.
But it's a Bulldog.
All right, so we've got St. Bonaventure over Michigan. Beards, if we can only do half the bracket tonight, the other half tomorrow, that's fine. But let's get through this half the bracket. I think I can save the progress. If not, we're going to have a really disappointing day tomorrow. UNC Greensboro. What is UNC Greensboro?
Let's pull
Like a Spartan of some sort versus the Seminoles?
They are the Spartans.
I feel Seminoles for some reason.
Yeah, I think Seminoles would be more.
They're
I
losing
don't-
to Georgetown
I don't
next
think
round either
Spartans
way, though.
I don't think dogs were existed.
think
with
that's it. I
Spartans.
think it's-
dogs were around Seminoles.
I think that's a good call. But Bulldogs, Georgetown advances either way.
Yeah.
Then Georgetown over St. Bonaventure probably, right?
I
think that's reasonable.
Probably, yeah.
BYU.
Cougars.
I was thinking they were a dog for some reason. I don't know why.
Cougars.
And then Michigan State /
Spartans and
UCLA.
Bruins. It's Spartans and Bruins.
Cougars are scary for a poor little wiener dog out there in the woods.
That's a fair point. They're a predator. All right, we'll go 11 seed there. Abilene Christian.
Yeah, a Bruin is a bear. I couldn't remember.
Abilene Christian's also a scary cat of some sort. I don't feel like a wiener dog is afraid of Bevo, a big longhorn.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of, I'm not thinking about a whole pack. I'm thinking about one longhorn.
They're chilling near each other. They're not necessarily interacting, but
Now,
they're fine
don't
near
forget,
each other.
there was that one college football game where Bevo got introduced to the
Ugga.
the
Ugga.
Georgetown Bulldog, and he charged that food.
I think it was Ugga from Georgia.
It was.
Yes, Georgia. Did I say Georgetown?
I think you did.
I meant Georgia.
I think Bevo, though, has to advance over a bear.
Yes,
over
that
a
is
bear
true.
or a
That is-
Spartan?
that is true.
Yes.
UConn, look at those Huskies.
Huskies it's Huskies and a turtle.
And a terrapin would be nice, but a husky clearly advances. Iona's a bird of some sort.
Alabama
I believe.
is an elephant.
I think the elephant's kind of fun. I could see a wiener dog running around an elephant.
I have watched many kid movies with an elephant and a dog just chilling.
But the Huskies have to advance over the Tide, and then Huskies over Longhorns. Here's the question, folks: Huskies or Bulldogs?
I think it's Huskies.
I think a Husky's friendlier there.
Yeah, for sure.
But boy, we're gonna have a really tough Final Four matchup there: Gonzaga versus UConn, Bulldogs versus Huskies. Here's the thing.
I think it's the Huskies.
Here's the thing, guys. Does Dick Justice want to win this bracket or not? Because if Dick Justice is able to ride Gonzaga to the end, he might have a chance to take home some hardware.
Here's the
But
thing.
I think
There
he
are
wants
a
to
lot
pick
of Bulldogs.
He wants to pick the
There are a
Huskies,
lot
though.
of
You're
Bulldog
right.
Here's the thing.
Northwestern's the Huskies, right?
We have twice. I don't think so. We have twice though slept on. They're the Wildcats.
Who else is a Husky?
We have slept on Washington.
That's right. Thank you. Purple.
We have slept on UConn twice prior.
Wow.
And twice as low seeds they won a national title. And they do have a player who people are saying maybe could do a Kimba or a Shabazz performance and carry them a long way. So
I think what Dick Justice wants, Dick Justice gets.
They're a sleeper national title contender.
That's the left side of the bracket. How are we doing over there, Beards, on the hard out? 1 minute?
Yeah.
Probably not going to work. I think what I'm going to have to do here is I'm probably going to I don't think it's going to let me submit it unless I fill it all out. So I'm going to I'm just going to pick
placeholders.
I'm going to put in some placeholders.
Stuff on the right side. We know to fill out when you just
left side of the bracket is done. Right side of the bracket, I will I'm just going to pick I'm going to hit, you know what? There's a button that says finish my bracket for me.
Real fast, Chaotic Warrior says, wait, Michigan is a Wolverine. I'm confused. How does the Bulldog win? It's not like a fight. It's just what is
Dick Justice the wiener dog picking? That's a great question, Chaotic Warrior. We did not do a particularly good job explaining that. But that's not new.
A Wolverine would beat a Bulldog. Is that 20 or 10?
How much time is left, Beards? Beards said Thuney in our headsets.
There's 15 seconds now.
Okay.
Thanks to Matt, Derrick, and Connor Christopherson. Go follow both of them on Twitter. We'll be back again tomorrow. Seth Kaiser will join us, and we'll finish the Dick Justice bracket. Bye, Mom!
You are listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
How does A1 Mortgage beat those big bank rates and still offer no out-of-pocket closing costs? Because A1 Mortgage is from Little